We'll be live.
Hello.
Hi. D is saying is no. I don't know if I can read this. Is this a word that YouTube will get us in trouble?
Yeah, we shouldn't
Like,
say that less than
okay,
30
well,
seconds into the stream.
okay. Read what D is saying. That's what time it is. That's what time it is, guys.
News time. Hello, everyone.
Secular
Please make
rarity.
sure to like this stream because we're going to be talking about a lot of juicy, highly controversial things today, like more than
Yeah,
usual. So, Secular Rarity is saying, woo! It just isn't Saturday night unless Atheist Republic news is on, y'all.
yeah, that's.
Guess
I
what?
love the way.
Tomorrow, Secular Rarity is going to be co hosting the Atheist Experience with the Apostate Prophet.
Ooh, that's
How
pretty
cool is
cool.
that? I was like,
That's
what the
amazing.
hell? Amazing.
That's amazing. Uh, the way do mention Atheist Republic and they'll kick you out. Like, let's try mention Atheist Republic. Mention Atheist Republic and see if they will let you stay there.
Shh, Secular Rarity, don't mess it up for yourself.
Oh, look at this. Forever Stormy is saying Susanna looks nice.
Thank you.
Okay. How's the news today? Is it like tragic? Is it funny? Is it wholesome?
It's mostly controversial. We're mostly talking about Islamic blasphemy today.
Mhm.
Still India focused in a lot of news, but we're going after the Islamic stuff. Um, and yeah, there's some stuff that's like more silly and lighthearted.
So
It's
today,
pretty, yeah.
so basically today is Taqiyya Day to cover our anti-Hindu, to make excuses. Like, well, for people who don't know, me and Susanna are both Muslim, okay? And our mission by the higher ups is to go after Hinduism. And today is one of those days where we're pretending to
Yeah.
be anti-Islam as a yeah, this is just Taqiyya. All right. Cool. So can we clap for the first news?
Um, let's just clap because it's the first news.
All right. First news.
First news. Remarks against Prophet Muhammad sparks violence across India. Teens
Wait. Go
killed.
back. Go back. From the start because your idea just got cut for me. Guys, can you let me
Oh
know
my
if the
god.
idea just got cut for me or did it cut for you as well? Let me know in the live chat. All right. Start from the beginning.
Okay. First news. Remarks against Prophet Muhammad sparks violence across India. Teens killed. Recently, Muslims have protested across India over the blasphemous remarks against the Prophet Muhammad made by the ruling party's media spokespeople. The comments garnered international condemnation from Muslim majority countries like Kuwait, Iran, and Qatar. The remarks have also caused domestic unrest across the nation. Two teenagers have died related to the protests against the blasphemy in um, Jakarta. According to Al Jazeera, the families of the victims, 14-year-old Mudassir Alam and 19-year-old Sahil Ansari, blamed the police for using, quote, disproportionate force against the protesters. Dozens of protesters were also hurt, including a senior police officer. Hundreds were also arrested in the state of Uttar Pradesh and West Bengal. A witness says the initial protests by Muslims were met by counter protests by Hindu nationalists, worsening the situation.
So why was
So,
it?
this is a news story that happened like the day of our last news show. So, it was like too soon for us to cover. And I mean, there has been continued to be a lot of domestic unrest across India. And I can break down a lot of different examples of it, but there's so much, it's like I can't even cover it all. Um, but yeah, it was important for us to do a follow up. A lot of our show today is follow up to these blasphemous, quote unquote, blasphemous remarks against the Prophet Muhammad.
Yeah, because it's not just like news from a week ago. There's has been ongoing events that has been happening around us.
Mm-hmm.
So how the people who have been killed around us, like what was the story exactly? How did they die? Why were they killed? What was the motivation?
So basically, they were either a part of, I mean, if they were a part of it is contested. So either a part of or near protests that were happening regarding, against these remarks being made. And the police opened fire on people. And yeah, these teenagers were killed. One of them was just shot in the head. There's been a lot of, I need to dive into it actually. Like, there have been BJP offices that have been set on fire, cars set on fire, people pelting stones, like a lot of police violence as well. There's just so much to get into. It's just all across the nation. Let me give some examples. So 2 people died in Ranchi in the aftermath of the violence. Several police personnel were injured while controlling protests to demand the arrest of Nupur Sharma. That's the blasphemer, near Hanuman Temple in Jakarta's Ranchi. Vehicles were torched and vandalized, and protesters also resorted to stone pelting. Police fired in the air and resorted to lathi charging. That means hitting people with the sticks, to control the mob that had gathered after the Friday prayers. Inspector General Operations of Jakarta Police, A.V. Homkar, told the Quint, quote, 2 civilians have died in the protest, which turned violent yesterday. One, Jawan, which I think is a police officer, also suffered bullet injuries and is being treated. Visuals emerging from the scene show cops holding a cloth to his bleeding head. A curfew was imposed in the violence hit areas of Ranchi, and internet services were suspended. You were just highlighting that Shuvo just became a member on YouTube. Thank you, Shuvo.
Yeah, thank you.
So what's also very interesting is last week I had a bunch of my friends in India message me who were like, so yeah, they cut off all the internet in my area because people are rioting and they're trying to stop the spread of more stuff being posted on social media that will cause further riots. And so I might not be able to contact you for a while because they've just cut off access to everyone in a last ditch effort to stop the spread of social media vitriol just causing real life violence.
The outrages by the Muslim protesters here is so selective. It's so selective. The fact that this is what they want to pick over getting angry over and causing this much violence, right? So if you so I don't want to make it seem like what the sensitivity of Hindus is okay, right? But again, this is what we're referring to, that as bad as and disgusting as many Hindus' reaction is to the fact that you're trying Hindu goddesses, right? They come out and they threaten your family. They harass you. They try to take out your social media off, and all of that is horrible, okay? But it never gets like this, right? People don't die over that, okay? And again, I'm not saying there are not people who die because of, Hindu violence. There are examples of that, but it's not even close to what you could expect from from a Muslim crowd. Again, not all Muslims, obviously, not all Muslims. Even these are fringe group of people that will commit violence like this, okay? But the fringe within the Muslim community is a much bigger fringe than other communities' fringe. You know what I mean? So they're all fringe, but some fringe are significantly more violent and a larger number of radicals, right? And again, over what? And the way that everybody, the violence of a community like this is so reliable that not only you could see that Western countries bending the knee and oh, this is bad. Yes, Islam shouldn't be insulted. Even BJP has to bend the knee to this. Oh my God, we made a mistake. Like that BJP. By the way, what has been the reaction to any updates on how Hindus are being angry with the BJP over them bending the knee to
I mean, yeah, the outrage continues. That hasn't been like the focus of what I've been looking into right now, because there's been like other bigger stories besides just like that general like internal backlash. But yeah, no, like it's all, a lot of people are going full, hashtag shame on BJP, just outraged that, they are supposed to be like the lions of Hinduism, and they're looking very meek, and this is like very antithetical to this vision of power in which they are trying to embolden. There's so many instances of just absolute chaos going on. There was over 100 people arrested in Saharanpur, in man, I'm so sorry about these names. Stone pelting in Prayagraj. Yeah, and then the BJP offices were set on fire in West Bengal. They torched the BJP offices in West Bengal. And so yeah, all across the country, there are people like, they cut off my internet here. They cut us off here. They cut us off here, because it just kept on popping up.
Wait. So no. Okay. So here's another thing I don't understand. Okay, everything that has been said about the Prophet, okay, are things that Islam says about the Prophet. Do you know what I mean? The things that she said, okay, these are the things about your Prophet. She literally didn't make a single claim that is not Islamic scripture. So when people come out and say, this is offensive, you're insulting our Prophet, are they not saying that Islam insults our Prophet?
Yeah.
Are you going to go like and burn Hadith Bukhari now? Like Hadith Bukhari says the exact same thing. Like is Islamic scripture offensive now? I don't understand.
That actually reminds me. So I got someone to do an exact translation of the actual statements that Nupur Sharma made. Because this actually makes me really angry. Most media sources do not actually report on what her comments were. I have not seen a single media source in this massive story that actually quotes her verbatim. Not a single one. Some have said, talked around what her comments were. And then some just say, she made comments offensive and derogatory to the Prophet Muhammad. Well, how about you actually post the quote and let us decide? So that being said, we got a translation. So here's a translation. So again, she said this on a TV panel in the midst of a debate, with a larger context. But here's the quote. So, shun it. You're flying horses. Earth is flat. That is written in the Quran. Should I start making fun of that? Marrying a 6-year-old girl and having sex with her when she is 9? Who? The Prophet Muhammad. Should I start speaking about that? The earth is flat according to Quran 88:20. Don't spew nonsense. Sit on the flying horse and fly away. When I actually read the statement translated, I have to admit, I started laughing so hard. Sit on the flying donkey and fly away. And then she makes this sound, which with her mouth, which locally means get on with it. Get out of here.
It's all
I have to admit that, come on.
Hadith Bukhari. It's all in here. Okay. Well, I mean, part of what she said is in the Sirah. Okay, but I mean, to be fair, they all are exposing each other, because she was responding to people mentioning weird, bizarre things in Hinduism. Okay, but if you notice,
not really. No.
Yeah, not really. What was she responding?
So it was in the context of a debate over whether this fountain in a mosque is in fact evidence that this was a Hindu temple that was destroyed and then a mosque was built on top. And then she was saying that the person that she was debating or that was countering her was insulting the Shiva Lingam. And so she's like, you're going to insult the Shiva Lingam? I can hit you where it hurts too. We want to talk about what should be made fun of because the Shiva Lingam is a phallus. Let's
Okay,
talk
so
about how the Earth is flat. Let's talk about
but then,
Barack, that kind of thing.
okay, but seriously, Shiva Lingam being the Shiva's penis is pretty hilarious, right? I mean, that should be
Yeah.
made fun of. But the thing is that the fact, okay, but here, but what I was trying to point to is the fact that they don't. I think they all know that their narrative is ridiculous, because their comeback is not like, "Hey, no, this is not ridiculous. Here's why." The comeback is like, "Well, you have ridiculous stuff too, right?" So like I've been watching like some Muslim videos coming at her, and they're like pointing out about ridiculous things in Hinduism, okay? And the Hindus coming out are like, "Well, you have this in Islam," okay? And they're both right, right? Like, because what you have is indefensible. The only, you can't go and make what you have look not ridiculous. The only thing you could do is like point to the other side, like, "Well, you have this," okay? But we could just watch, sit back. I mean, no, we can't, because people are dying. I was like, but anyways, so both of you are correct, and your defense, you can't defend what you have. You could only point to the other side.
Okay,
Yeah.
speaking of, one thing that drives me crazy is like left-leaning India media bias. So wait, I need to find it. I saw on Instagram a major Indian news publication posting an article basically trying to play cover for the fact that Aisha was a child. Like, this major left-leaning publication is publishing stories about, which The Wire. It was The Wire. The Wire India posting an article titled "The Truth About Prophet Muhammad and Aisha." And basically like praising Muhammad and talking about why this is sparking riots, and how false it is to claim that she was a child and all this stuff. The Wire, this
Wow.
what I consider usually a very credible news source. I'm like, are you kidding me? I literally commented, I was like, you don't have to do this. Like, you don't have to play cover for Islam to talk about how the problems with this whole fiasco, right? The correct move is not to say, "Oh, actually Aisha was 19." Like, we don't, please, no, you're feeding the right wing. Please don't do this to me. Like,
Okay, Oxymoron is pointing out that there's nothing wrong with penis people, and
of course not.
penis people engaged in American and saying, "Don't kink shame Shiva." Okay, so obviously there's nothing wrong with Shiva having a penis, okay? But the fact that he has his penis everywhere, and people are constantly rubbing it and pouring milk on it, is like, I think it's sexual abuse.
It's a little funny.
I mean, it's abuse. I mean, he's constantly being aroused all the time. Like, I don't know where he is, but I don't know what he's feeling. I bet you, he's he's being edged.
We don't know if it's consensual.
Yeah, he's being edged all the time. I'm pretty sure. Like, maybe he's somewhere crying, begging the whole world to stop. I don't know. But but you highlighted Puya's comment.
Puya saying, "That is so rude. It's not a horse, it's a donkey. She misspecied Barack."
It's not a donkey either. It's a mount. Like, it's not. It's neither. It's okay. It's not any species that we are familiar with. Okay, people say donkey. People say like horse. Okay, it has the body of a horse or a donkey and the face of a human. It's not any other. It's not. It's its own species. Okay, it's the Burak. I don't know what this Burak is his name, so I don't know the name. You guys could come up with a name for the species, because I think it's a species with a population of. Are there other, like, does Burak have other animals like that are like that? Like, is there a place in heaven where human face, horse
Horses.
body, are just hanging around, or is he just?
Is there a little family of Baraks?
Like a baby Barak. After the Mi'raj, did she go home to her children and did you do the thing that you were made to do? Like, yes, it is done.
I carried the prophet. I did it.
I did
it. Mama, I did it. Forever Storm is saying the fanatics, whether Hindu or Muslim, just don't want people to know what their religious texts have disgusting ideas. They want to pretend that their gods are nice and pure. Yeah.
Is it a centaur? Maybe it's a
No,
centaur.
a centaur has it's like a human man all the way up to his torso, and then
I know, but
the
maybe
lower
that's what
half
they
is horse.
meant. I know, but it doesn't. Centaurs have. Maybe this whole time people have been depicting it wrong, because they only changed because it's weird. It's so weird, right? Like it has everything is a horse, and the face and the butt, the face is human. It's the most bizarre looking thing. I think maybe it has been a centaur all this time, and people have just misunderstanding what maybe the person who was describing what they look like, they just didn't do a good job. They just focus on the face being human, but it's the entire upper part is human. I don't know.
I think you might have a point.
Yeah. Or Lamasu. What the hell is that? Let me look that up. People are saying it's a Lamasu. Asian American is saying it's a Lamasu. Ooh, it is a Lamasu.
What is a Lamasu?
Oh my God! Look it up. Look at. Oh, here I'll bring Google Images. This thing. I should be knowing this, but this is in.
Oh snap! Because Puya is saying, Armin, I think a certain someone from the Persian community created that abomination.
I mean, that looks a lot better than I've seen in the Islamic depictions of what it is. I mean, this is we've been seeing this everywhere, like in ancient Persian art. This is a major symbol. These are guards. So yeah, this looks a lot. Oh my God.
For people who are listening in audio, like try to explain what we're looking at.
I don't. You explain. I don't know how to explain. But this is like a Mesopotamian depiction of guardians of, I don't know. Oh wow, this actually looks pretty cool. But that makes a lot of sense. So is Islam? So is this part of Islam influenced by Mesopotamian mythology of Lamasu?
It sure looks like it.
Yeah, it does look like it. Yeah. That's Assyrian. Yeah, okay, Assyrian. Okay, fine. Mesopotamian. It's all Mesopotamian.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I just learned something today.
Okay. That was interesting. I never considered. I've seen Burak all the time, and I've seen Lamasus in Mesopotamian.
Yeah, I never put the two and two together.
But I never put the two together. That's amazing. Okay.
I'm glad we have some nerds here.
Yes.
Some mythology nerds to help us out. Forever Storm, did Muhammad have any original ideas?
Yeah, I mean, marrying a 6-year-old was original, because I remember saying, I remember reading that even people at the time was like, isn't that because people were like, it was the norm at the time, and apparently based on what I'm reading, like even for them, there was like, is this shit?
No, there are scriptures about the other companions being like, she still plays with dolls.
Yeah, like she's too young, man.
Yeah, like it's very obvious.
Yeah.
Maybe not burying baby girls. Maybe that was the original idea.
No, that's completely made up. It makes no sense. Okay, people like Islam, before Islam, they were burying baby girls alive. Okay, and Islam put a stop to that. We talked to a lot of experts. Like they're saying, like that must be completely made up. Okay, women were considered very, very valuable commodity. Like why? What the hell? Why would you do that? And also, why would you bury them alive? You know what I mean? Like it seemed like they just came up with the most evil thing that they could imagine, and they're like, oh yeah, that was happening. And
because it's pagans, obviously.
Yeah, maybe like there was one person that did that, and they were like, oh, this was just everybody was doing that. Like no, like this was like, women were like, when you invaded a village or something, you took their gold and their women. Like women were like precious commodity. Why would you just like kill them? You know what I mean? Like it's a complete lie. It makes no sense. All right, let's go. Can we clap for the next news?
It would be a bad look if we clap for the next news.
Next news.
No.
Okay.
Okay. This is getting very fuego, and so I'm gonna have to make multiple times during this news where I give some disclosures for YouTube. Okay. Palestinian Islamic
Wait.
scholar.
You have to say next news first.
Okay, next news. Palestinian Islamic scholar declares jihad and calls to eradicate Hindus. YouTube, these are not our views. We are reporting on the views of other people. We condemn these attitudes and comments. And I'm going to say that repeatedly because this is very sensitive. Okay.
Everybody pray to the YouTube gods and ask for forgiveness for covering news that is too controversial. Thank guys.
So Nidhal Siam, a Palestinian Islamic scholar, recently held a hate rally at the Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem to protest comments deemed blasphemous towards Islam that were made by members of India's ruling BJP party. Siam declared jihad, a religious war, to eradicate the quote-unquote cow-worshipping Hindus who had insulted Islam and the Prophet Muhammad. He also addressed the, quote, affronts and hostilities made by the infidels against the Muslims, including actions by France, Sweden, and China. Siam stated, quote, the only appropriate reaction is to declare jihad for the sake of Allah and discipline the infidels and polytheists, and by eradicating them. Mauritian Islamic scholar Sheikh Mohammed Al-Hassan Al-Badaw Al-Shankiti also added to the controversy when he appeared on a Turkish television program and advocated for, quote, deporting the Hindu foreign workers from the Arab nations, especially from the Gulf countries. So
Palestinian Islamic scholars have no chill. You know what I mean? Like
absolutely zero chill. So when I saw this news, I was like, uh-oh. We got the Palestinian Islamic scholars versus the Hindutva. This is not going to be good. Like, they found out about Hindutva, guys. Like, watch out. This is going to get some incitement towards violence.
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't know how to comment on this. This is disgusting. What do you want to say? Like, I don't know how to.
Should I read his full comments?
No.
I think it.
Well, should
I think it gives more context, or okay, like, sure. I want to like really dig into like how like expose this guy. He says, okay, again, YouTube. These are not my comments. I am reading the comments made by other individuals, and these attitudes we condemn. Okay. Quote, oh, Muslims, do you see the infidels' successive affronts and hostilities?
Okay, can you not? This is getting dangerous. When you read the whole thing, can you not read the eradication part?
Okay. Oh, Muslims, do you see the infidels' successful?
Change eradicate to ejaculate. Just so we could throw off YouTube. Okay, go on.
Okay, no, thank you.
No? Okay.
Oh, Muslims, do you see the infidels' successive affronts and hostilities towards the messenger of Allah? We barely got clear of France's affronts when we had to encounter the affronts by the Hindus, those cow worshippers. These affronts are nothing less than a war against Islam and the Muslims. The infidels take turns in waging this war against the Muslims. First, it was America with its aggression in Iraq and Afghanistan. Then it came from Sweden with its kidnapping of Muslim children. France attacked once and Russians multiple times. And then there's China with its crimes. And now the Hindu cow worshippers who have destroyed mosques, killed Muslims, and destroyed their villages. Now they slander the master of mankind. And then once again, he reiterates that the only solution to this is to declare jihad. And okay. Oh my gosh, here's where things get crazy. So then he explicitly incites Pakistanis to commit violence against Hindus. He says, as for you, O people of Pakistan, you have a greater duty than others in fighting the Hindus. They are right there on your border, occupying parts of your land and killing your people. You have a great army that is capable of disciplining the Hindus, making them forget the whispers of Satan.
Okay. This kind of narrative is really bad. Like, if I was Palestinian, I would why are you making things more difficult for us, right? Like, the main things Palestinians have working in their favor is some people's sympathy, okay? And I'm not saying this person represents all Palestinians, okay? But that's how people will see it. People are like, oh my, okay, like this is going to really hurt people's views on Palestinians. I'm not saying I endorse it because I don't think collectively, but this guy, instead of making life more difficult for him, I mean, he might be making life more difficult for Hindus, but he's also making life a lot more difficult for Palestinians. Like this is such
definitely.
a self-owned, like you're basically like, targeting your own team by doing stuff like this. Like you're the thing, winning the propaganda war, like that's the main thing you have in your favor as Palestinians. And this guy is a huge, inconvenience and that aspect. Like I think the main people who should be calling this out, like would be in their best interest to call this out, are other Palestinians. But unfortunately, is this in the West Bank or in the Gaza Strip?
This is in Jerusalem.
Oh, wait, if it's in Jerusalem, is he Palestinian? Like, does he not have an Israeli citizenship?
I don't know. He's always referred to as Palestinian.
Maybe he self-identifies as Palestinian, but he's not Palestinian. Because I know there are a lot of Arab Israelis who just get disgusted by referring to them as Israelis, like even though they're technically Israelis, and they refer to themselves as Palestinian. But I think like if he lives in Jerusalem, there's a chance that he's not even Palestinian. He's just like an Israeli Arab. But I don't know.
I don't know. Well, he's very he is a hate monger. He frequently incites people to violence, and he is an Islamic extremist. I was looking through, his greatest hits, so to speak, and that includes inciting the overthrow of the Jordanian regime. He's made claims that he's going to conquer Paris and Rome and rule Europe with Islam. He's going to establish a caliphate and liberate Jerusalem. Yeah. This cleric is quoted as saying Muslims are time bombs waiting for the call of jihad.
Okay, what are the laws around this in Israel? He's not in Palestine. He's in Israel. Okay, like if there's such a direct call for violence, like does Israel have any laws against this? Like
I have no idea, but it's crazy. This man is an extremist hate monger, and I thought it was important to talk about this because we are constantly accused of Hindu phobia and all this stuff, but I do think it is important to highlight legitimate, deadly anti-Hindu bigotry. And this is one of the largest examples of it I've seen in years. This is insane.
Yeah. Unfortunately, anyway, I don't want to act like this is completely fringe, okay? Because if you look at Pew Research, among Palestinians, there's a huge demand for extreme punishment for people who insult Islam or like go against the Sharia or like leave Islam even, right?
Oh, yeah.
So sometimes we say like, so to be clear, a fringe number of Muslims, is that right, do carry out acts like this. But unfortunately, the people within Islamic communities who support it, even though they themselves don't do it, it's not fringe. That's like a high percentage, unfortunately. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's
high empirically measured. We're not just saying that.
Yeah. And that's high percentage in Palestinian territories is very high relative to even other Islamic countries. So there's that.
No, I thought it was important because then there was also this guy who came on an Egyptian Muslim Brotherhood affiliated channel in Turkey. And the news presenter of this program says some of the most dehumanizing things I have ever heard about Nupur Sharma, the woman who made these blasphemous comments, right? Like so bad, like if what I read earlier was bad for YouTube, like I cannot say what this guy said about Nupur Sharma. and just like really derogatory, really extremely bigoted things towards her as a Hindu. Really extremely dehumanizing language. And then he follows up by bringing on this sheikh to talk about what this sheikh is advocating for. And this sheikh is openly advocating for all Hindus to be deported from any Arab or particularly Gulf region country, simply because this comment that this woman made. Millions of people miles away from home who have nothing in common necessarily with this woman, except for the fact that they're both Indian nationals and Hindu. And he said, and they're like, oh, well, what do you have to say to people who would say, oh, what happened to your humanity? Why would you punish these people who had nothing to do with this? And he said, okay, but they follow a certain political party. They vote for it and they serve it. The BJP party is hostile to the Prophet Muhammad. If they return to India, that party would have to stop its attacks, or else it will have to accept all these people who will become an economic burden. This is what we want. If all those millions of workers return to India all at once, it would constitute a huge blow to the BJP, not to the workers, but to the ruling party itself. And it just really sickens me to see people just openly advocating for and unabashedly talking about like just massive, extreme collective punishment, open bigotry against Hindus, but it's also evolved into just bigotry towards Indians in particular, because they don't necessarily know if the Indian that they're talking to is a Hindu or Muslim or not, just automatically. And seeing these remarks, like, really, I don't know, they're really upsetting to me. Like, it's just really reaching so much like tit for tat vitriol. It's horrible. Forever Stormy is saying, if there is a violent quote unquote fringe, it usually means that there's a whole ecosystem in the wider society that supports that fringe. Yeah, or feeds that fringe. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, I don't agree with this.
Satish Singh is saying he's the Islamic version of Nupur Sharma. I don't agree with this. Nupur Sharma did not advocate for any degree of violence, even approaching what this man said about Hindus.
Yeah, it's not even close.
It's not even close. It's not even close. Like, she said some derogatory things about Prophet Muhammad as a religious figure. Like, these people are talking about direct incitement of violence towards I can't say that. Yeah. Erasing millions and millions of people. It's not even comparable. What she said pales in comparison to this nut job.
Right. So here, read this one.
Bengali Hindu is saying he's the Islamic version of Yati Narsinganand Saraswati, not Nupur Sharma. That's a better comparison. It's more comparable.
And you said like Nupur blasphemed. They're saying she did not blaspheme. I mean, I agree. She literally said what is wrong. Like, that's not even. I mean, you're saying that, Sorgu, as if blasphemy is bad. If blasphemy is good, but yeah, technically she didn't blaspheme.
Yeah, she was just stating the facts. Okay, but I'm using that language because that's how it's being interpreted and reacted to, right? Like, that's how, and also how it's being talked about in most media places. So, given that that's the lens through which most people are seeing it, that's how we have to engage and dissect it. Like, I agree with what you say. Doorknob Heaven is saying moderate religious people are like the truck drivers and logistics support groups that supports the front lines of their religion. In some ways. Okay. So we're saying don't slander Nupur.
Nupur is insane. Like, okay, so she didn't do anything wrong on this specific area. Like, I mean, maybe she did do something wrong, because even if she didn't say anything that is wrong, I think as a politician she shouldn't meddle in religious. Like, she shouldn't, as a private person she could talk about religious beliefs, but in her capacity as a politician, I think she should stay away from religious discussions, right?
Well, that's off the table when it comes to India in general. Like, that would eliminate like everyone. But yeah. I take it from the perspective of it's a really politically stupid thing to do. Like, it's not helpful. It's not strategic.
Yeah, but Nupur, like, even though what she said here about Islam is all of that was correct, she is a bigot, isn't she? Like, she has, like, not specifically because of what she said here, but because of her views in other aspects. She's horrible. She's like she's extremely bigoted and somebody that we would love to slander. I think we just got a $5 Canadian dollar donation by Anonymous. Thank you so much for the donation. I appreciate that.
Amazing. Thank you.
But yes.
It should also be mentioned, so, because, we're kind of doing this new segment in multiple parts. So we talked about like the domestic violence within India. Then we went to a larger lens, went back to look at things and comments made outside of India. There's been protests in Bangladesh with thousands upon thousands of people protesting against these remarks. So that's worth noting as well. And then now we're going to go back to the domestic realm in the next segment and talk about these home demolitions, because that's also a very important aspect of this story.
Okay, so we have the next story ready. Can we clap for the next news? Wait, okay. Sorgu is clarifying. I think he keeps wanting us to read this.
So, Sorgu was saying that I wasn't saying that we were slandering Nupur. He was responding to the person who compared Nupur to the Palestinian, supporting those horrible things against Hindus. Okay, yes. In that case, I completely agree.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
That is slander. That is like she did not. She's a bigot, but not like that. Not that far at all. Not even close.
Liable and slander. Libelous and slander, sir.
All right. Can we clap for the next news?
I'm gonna take these claps where we can get them. Screw
next news.
Next news. After protesting against Islamic blasphemy, Indian Muslims' homes demolished. Recently, protests erupted all over India due to the BJP spokesperson Nupur Sharma's remarks about the Prophet Muhammad and his wife Aisha. Sharma was suspended from the party for her comments. Street protests and violent riots by angry Muslim mobs have been going on for days throughout the country. In Ranchi, demonstrators pelted stones and torched vehicles. Under the orders from Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, authorities in Uttar Pradesh, India, used bulldozers to destroy the homes of people accused of being involved in the protests. Amnesty International issued a condemnation and described the actions of the authorities as, quote, the excessive use of force in response to large-scale protests in the country. Many decried the demolitions as patently illegal and a brazen display of collective punishment. Ali Khan Mahmoodbad, the head of the political science department at Ashoka University, said the bulldozer had become a potent symbol of fear for the Muslims. He explained, quote, it's not just that you will go to jail or you will get arrested, but your entire family will suffer.
I don't understand how is this going to fix anything.
Do you read that? Good point. I hadn't thought about it like that.
Like, do they think like okay, so I mean, the houses that you're destroying are not necessarily the same people who are protesting. You're just doing guilt by association, and also there's no. I mean, like, isn't this anti-Indian? Like the people, like the Indian people who are cheering this, like, yes, give it to them. And they're like, you're ruining India. Like, you what about the rule of law? What about due process? What about your judicial system? Like, aren't those valuable institutions to you? Isn't that what sets you apart from other countries? Aren't you happy that India is superior to a country like Iran or Pakistan because they have a stronger, more developed judicial system? And aren't you just throwing that in the garbage can by holding people collectively responsible and punishing them without due process? Like, isn't that like, this is anti-Indian? Like, you're destroying, you think you're destroying Muslim community, you're destroying your own institutions, you're destroying your own values, the values that have set you apart from other countries. You're becoming more and more like the countries that you hate. Anyways.
Well, I also don't see how it's helpful to like just economically disenfranchise like your own population like this, like to set back people generations in terms of wealth accumulation. that's going to hurt your own economies and own communities as well. And so it's really interesting. There was one particularly prominent case of the student activist, Afrin Fatima, and her family. So she had a 2-story house in, this is a really hard word for me, Prayagraj, form like Allahabad, known as Allahabad. And they bulldozed her house because they said that she was involved with these protests, or that her father was involved in creating these protests, but there wasn't any evidence to produce this. And they were issued notice basically like the day before. I might get like the chronology of events like a little bit wrong, but basically saying, oh, you live in an illegal establishment, you live in an illegal construction. And they're like, what are you talking about? We've been paying taxes on this house for like 20 years. Suddenly it's an illegal construction. And basically the entire process of how her house in particular was demolished was completely illegal. One, because they issued notice to her father when, because of Muslim personal law, the house was in the name of her mother. So if the court order is issued to the name of the wrong person, then it's completely invalid, right? So even this court order that they put forward as some of their evidence to support like why that they did this, even that has no legal standing. And then to do this kind of thing in India, like it takes actually a lot of court procedures to go through with this kind of thing. And none of it was observed. Absolutely none of it was observed, even just for like a normal, regular, legitimate, like you have an illegal construction that we need to take down. But the fact that this was done within the span of 48 hours after these protests, it's just such clear, collective punishment. When they're like, we weren't involved with this, we didn't organize this, just they put a target on our back because we have some prominence and they went after us. Yeah.
All right, so let's actually read some comments here. And I want to...
Okay, yeah, we got a lot of comments. Forever Stormy is saying it's not meant to fix anything. It's supposed to show them their place. That's basically how I interpret these events. And it's particularly important that this is happening. This happened in April too. You'll remember there was a lot of violence that was sparked because of, I always say it wrong, Ram Navami, or Ramni, whatever. The Hindu festival to celebrate the birth of Lord Rama. And there was a lot of Hindu-Muslim violence across the country during this time. And there were also a series of home demolitions that took place because, again, same thing. They said, you Muslims were protesting. The chief minister, I forget what state it was in, but he literally said like, oh, you're pelting stones, so we're going to turn your home into stones. And just went ahead and bulldozed this. And there were court orders. I think it went all the way up to the Supreme Court. And saying, yeah, no, this is completely illegal. You can't do this without due process. In no form of the Indian Penal Code, even if there was due process, in no form of the Indian Penal Code is this a legal punishment that is prescribed. Like, where are you guys getting this from, basically? Anyways, Oxymoron is saying, no, they were mostly same people caught on camera if they are illegal construction. All right,
so down. let me translate. Okay, so Oxymoron is saying that no, the houses that were demolished were of the people in the protests. The cameras show that. Okay, well, first of all, if you want to punish people, you can't just be like, oh, we saw it on camera, therefore punishment is just. You have to go through a court procedure. They have to be able to defend themselves. The fact that it was this shortly after the protest means that none of those processes took place. Okay, you can't be like, oh, we saw it, well, that's for justified. Okay, like this is very dangerous precedent that you're setting here. Okay, that all it took is that we saw it on camera. Even if you're sure, you have to go through the process for the sake of maintaining a proper judicial system in the country. And then the second part is saying, if they are illegal construction, then they mow down. So he's saying that because they're illegal, the illegality of it was used to mow down the construction. First of all, that's not how you're supposed to use the law. You can't just be like, use your vendetta against somebody to just highlight. For example, I know, like in Turkey, for example, there's this atheist that they want to get for blasphemy charges, but they couldn't do that. Like they want to get revenge from him because of his views on Islam, right? And what they did is like, oh, you have an illegal balcony, and they selectively use that illegal balcony on him, even though other people had illegal balconies as well. This is a selective way of using laws against a certain group of people versus the other ones. It's a way for you to do illegal punishments while technically being in accordance with the law. That is also a misuse of your own laws. Okay. And the process of, even if you want to demolish a house that is processed, the way that they did that violates India's own laws. There's a process where you have to go through to make that happen. So you're saying legally right, but wrong in terms of values? No, it's also legally was also not done the proper way. Okay. And also Regsy Boy is saying her father was a mastermind of the violence. You have to prove that. Okay. And the punishment. Okay, so if you want to, you have to take that to the court system, and you could prove that. I mean, I would be endorsing that. If somebody was responsible for violence, then you take that to court, you prove it, and they go to prison. You don't use another law that is unrelated against them and then enforce it selectively. That's not the right way to do it. If the guy is the mastermind of the violence, I agree, they should be punished. This is wrong. Go on.
Yeah, no, well, because, okay. Whether I was, I don't know. Actually, never mind.
No, some people are saying that. Some people, I know you're trying to be careful, but some people are in the live chat are saying, well, they are saying they don't care about the law. Okay, well, okay, so if they don't care about the law, you're gonna join them on pissing on your own laws? Like, you are all joining the Hindus.
You have a stake in this.
Yeah, again, you're like, so you are joining the people you hate, and you're allying with them in pissing on your own laws and ruining the country. Like, congratulations, the people that you call your enemies are actually your allies in destroying India. You're friends with each other. You act like you're enemies with each other. Anyways, read this one.
Bengal Hindu is saying, well, the difference between India and Pakistan, mob violence are not openly supported by the Pakistani government, but in India, it is openly supported by the Indian government. It depends on what kind of mob you're in, what side you're on. Yeah, I don't completely agree with that.
No, yeah, in Pakistan as well, they bend the knee to the mob a lot. So, and they keep giving them things that makes the mobs happy. Yeah, so no, I don't know if I agree with that as well. Yeah.
Forever Stormy is saying, in states like Gujarat, 1/3 of all buildings are technically illegal. This has nothing to do with illegality. Everything to do with showing who's in power. Yeah.
Okay, AK is saying what we're saying is our ideology, and it's the reason why we have terrorist attacks in the West. Well,
what?
AK, the Western countries are doing a lot better than India. So if you, whatever the situation is in Western countries and in India, I'm pretty sure most people would prefer whatever happens. Like, maybe if the values are responsible for how the Western countries are and how India are, they're winning and you're losing. India is losing and they're ahead. They're way ahead. Oh, what is this?
Oh, Forever Storm is saying, Armin and Susanna care more about India than most Indians right now.
Why is the world's largest secular democracy? Everybody should care.
And people are once again correcting how I pronounce Gujarat.
Now, go.
It's been years. I still can't get it right.
Okay, the G's are G. The G's make the G sound. The J's make the J sound. You can't do the.
That's so confusing.
What do you mean? G is G. Gujarat. Well, how else? Okay. How else would you?
Isn't that what I've been saying? Gujarat.
No, you just said Gujarat. Gujarat.
Because this person says, "Oh, I'm dyslexic too. I'm sweating. I'm getting stressed."
All right. Let's go to the next news.
Can we clap for the in dyslexia? I'm like, oh my god. This is not something we like, but we can clap.
All right, I'm gonna clap and then I'm gonna go. I'll be right back. All right.
Okay.
Next news.
Taliban arrests Afghani YouTuber for, quote, insulting Islam and the Quran. Ajmal Hakiki, a famous Afghan fashion model and YouTuber, and his colleagues were arrested for allegedly, quote, disrespecting Islam and Afghan culture in a recent video. The witty and cheerful fashionista is known for showcasing his funny and entertaining takes on ethnic Afghani fashion and lifestyle in his videos. In a widely circulated video, Hakiki is seen laughing as his protege, Ghulam Sakhi, uses his speech impairment for comedic effect while reciting verses of the Quran. That video was deleted on June 5th and replaced with an apology, but it failed to satisfy the Taliban. 2 days later, Hakiki appeared distraught as he was held captive in 2 short videos released by the Afghan General Directorate of Intelligence, or GDI. Hakiki was made to apologize in one of the videos. On June 8th, responding to the arrests, a statement was released by Amnesty International demanding the release of Hakiki and his colleagues. Since August 2021, the Taliban has detained numerous individuals without trial and coerced them into making forced statements to suppress criticism in the country and prevent others from voicing their opinions. You're muted.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to get the video because I want to show
I
it
haven't.
to you guys.
Were you able to see the actual comedic video that got him in trouble? Because I didn't.
Yeah,
find
that's
it.
what I'm getting here.
Oh, yay! Where did you find this?
It was sent to me. Can you hear this? Do you hear that?
Yes.
I can play. Okay. So
مزاتین لو مزاتین لذی جمع مولا یقدده و یصبو انا مولا و یخلده
واو سخی جان نام خدا امروز قرشاد هست قرشاد هست
انها علیه مصدتون فی آمدین ما مددت سلامت
So look at them, they're having such a pleasant time here, and let me get the video what happened after. So that was like they're just joking around, they're having fun, they're like pleasantly, they dressed up, they're in a nice restaurant, everything looks good, but look at what happens next. So this was before and this is after.
الرحمن الرحیم من از دوران جمهوریت در یوتیوب فعال بودم و فکر می‌کردم اگر هر نوع ویدیو و یا فیلم را نشر کنم شاید.
Oh wait, okay. So now you
always forget that other people can't understand.
Yeah, hold on. So look how harmless it is. They're in a restaurant. Look, it looks like a nice restaurant. They're all like having fun. All of a sudden, this was before and this is after. Like the contrast. They're just like all of a sudden, like look at this place, look at their hair, look at the stress level. Okay. By the way, the reason why he's not in prison dress is because the guy that actually did the song, he's considered mentally ill. So the Taliban was like, okay, well, it wasn't your fault. Your friends did that to you. Your friend.
I don't think he's mentally ill. He just has a speech impairment, like impediment.
Okay, but
do they know the difference? Do they care? Probably not.
Yeah, I don't know, but I think that was enough for the Taliban to be like, you're not at fault. You were used by your friends to make this like. So we're not going to punish you. That's why I think that's why he's not in prison outfit. The rest of, but his friends were like, look at all of them, and he's now apologizing. Okay, so let me see what he's saying. He's just like, it's a song. They're just like they were. I mean, I don't know. It's nothing harmful. Hold on.
من از دوران جمهوریت در یوتیوب فعال بودم و فکر
He's talking about his activities on YouTube.
فکر می‌کردم اگر هر نوع ویدیو و یا فیلم را نشر کنم شاید کسی واکنش نشان نده.
And I thought that if I make whatever kind of media I make, I thought that nobody will respond. I think they're giving him, like, obviously this is a script that they give him. Like, these are not his own words.
در ویدیوی نشر شده ما آیات مبارکه قرآن تدوین شده که
He's like, in the video that we released, there was the verses, the holy verses of Quran were read.
از همین جهت ما حاضریم تا هر حکمی که محکمه بالای ما صادر کند بپذیریم.
Like, and for this reason, we are willing to accept whatever punishment they choose for us. Whatever punishment they choose for us, we accept. And he's like saying it like we accept willingly.
ما از طریق کانال یوتیوب خود برای ترویج فحشا و مبلغ کار میکردیم.
And like we used our YouTube channel to spread degeneracy.
و نظام جمهوری از ما حمایت میکرد. میخواستم فرهنگ و ارزش.
And the Republic, I think he's talking about the previous regime, used to support us.
های بیگانه ها را در افغانستان پیاده کنم.
And we were used as a way to spread like foreign propaganda in Afghanistan, like the propaganda of the enemy.
پیاده کنم. از آن برای ترویج فحشا و مبلغ کار میکردیم و نظام جمهوری از ما حمایت میکرد. میخواستم فرهنگ و ارزش های بیگانه ها را در
Like I wanted to spread the culture of foreigners or like the enemies. I was spreading that in Afghanistan. That's what I used to do.
افغانستان پیاده کنم. از آن بابت نیز از امارات اسلامی معذرت میخوایم.
And for that reason, I apologize from the Islamic Emirat. I ask for their apology. I ask for their forgiveness.
درباره غلام سخی باید بگوییم که سیستم.
Anyways, do you want me to translate all of it, or is that good?
That's probably good. Thank you for translating the Dari for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Yeah, look at them. They're so stressed out. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, the contrast is so stark.
Oh my God.
But okay, here's the thing. Obviously, I have a completely different mindset. Like they're the mindset of someone in the Taliban is it's alien to me. Like I can't even comprehend it, right? But like, how is that insulting to Islam?
Make like reading the Quran like in a musical way as a way to laugh. That's like.
But isn't it like taking the joke out of that guy? Like it's taking the piss out of him because it's funny because he has a speech impairment and he can't talk right. So isn't that making fun of him more than
no?
the
Okay. So I think they're his friends. They weren't making fun of him. They just like
or like joke, you know.
Yeah, but it wasn't just speech. Like so they like the way they adore the way he says things. It seems like it's not like they're like, haha, look at you, you can't talk, okay? But he knows like his friends kind of like the way he talks about things, but then he puts it also in a musical way to make it extra pleasant to listen to. So they like the way he speaks, but then he also, adds to it. And yeah, he was like making fun and like turning it into a musical, turning the reading the Quranic verse into a kind of musical. Yeah. Anyways, I don't know. Like it seemed like some people might even say that he was like celebrating a Quranic verse, but obviously, if you're not doing it in the proper way, they see it as insulting.
Look at how much joy he was bringing everyone.
Yeah. Like for example, here's the thing. Like, have you seen like sometimes people take the Quranic recitations of Quranic verses or Hadith recitation and they turn it into a techno? Like remember the Rihanna background music that for the fashion thing that they had, right? Like that is like just a remix of the Quranic verse by itself.
It wasn't even the Quran, it was a Hadith.
I know, but that by itself is horrible. Like that's not like it's not supposed to be that entertaining. I don't know. Yeah.
So ridiculous.
Do you want to read some comments?
So, Seth was just asking, Armin, is Susanna's Farsi pronunciation any better than her pronunciation of place names in India?
Well, yeah, because I'm with her and I constantly tell her like when she makes like she doesn't have an Indian friend that works with her constantly to correct her on her mispronunciation. So, but she has me, so I do correct.
I mean, I have a lot of Indian friends, but we're like we're texting. I don't have someone to coach me on how it sounds, right? I have a very good Farsi coach. I have Babak and I have Armin.
Yeah,
help me out because it's a struggle. It's a struggle.
Oxymoron is saying, can they make an argument that they're smiling? That smiling is not laughing. Yes, we're not too happy. We're all miserable. Okay, we're all miserable. As it should be in Islam. Everybody is unhappy. Okay, is that not what you want? Isn't that what you want? Isn't the Islam way the unhappy way? Well, look at us. We're miserable now. You win.
I know. I was about to say this is reason number, I don't even know, like 5 million, example number 5 million of how Islam sucks the joy out of literally anything in
Everything.
life. Anything.
Yeah.
Freaking anything. So
You're happy? That's illegal.
joy? Who said that was okay?
Joy
Haram.
Cancelled.
Yeah, I don't know. Just to wrap this news up, like I hope he's at least released from prison soon. I don't know what kind of punishment he could receive for this kind of thing, but I sincerely hope it does not involve any harm to his physical person.
Yeah.
I don't know if that will or will not happen. I don't know.
I don't know.
If it does, I hope it's minimal. Because god damn.
I'm not hopeful.
I'm not hopeful either. And I was looking into his work, and he's such a cool he's such a cool YouTuber. He's such a cool model. Like he's a deeply creative person who has such a talent for celebrating real Afghan culture.
Yeah.
And again, the Taliban snuffing out real Afghan culture.
Yeah. Anyways, can we clap for the next news?
Yes.
Next news. I just scared my dog by clapping, but yeah. All right.
Next news. How anti-Muslim pop songs are fueling violence in India. Recently, anti-Muslim songs filled with hateful lyrics are becoming a centerpiece of nationalist rallies and meetings in India. Earlier this year, a Hindu priest paraded near a mosque in Uttar Pradesh while blasting anti-Muslim songs and calling for the sexual assault of Muslim women. We talked about that story. In April 2021, during the celebration of the birth of Lord Rama, these songs can be heard blasting from loudspeakers, followed by violent Muslim versus Hindu street clashes. Hidayatullah Mansuri, a mosque official, said, quote, "These songs make open calls for our murder, and no one is making them stop." The increasingly popular anti-Muslim songs are being called saffron pop. Prem Krishnavanshi, a so-called saffron pop singer, has songs calling for the end of Muslim-Hindu brotherhood. In one of his songs, he accused Muslims of being anti-national and said that they should move to Pakistan. He defended himself by saying, my music signifies truth, and if someone thinks that's Islamophobic, I can't stop them from feeling that way.
I wish it was Islamophobic. I would be supporting it if it was Islamophobic. It's Muslimophobic. I mean, like, I mean, if it was attacking, if you write songs and attack Islam, I will endorse it. I would advertise it. Okay, but you're like, oh, if they say it's Islamophobic, but I don't care. No, it's not Islamophobic. Okay, we do Islamophobia. Okay, we proudly do Islamophobia. You're doing anti-Muslim bigotry. Okay, you're attacking Muslims. Okay, and also people in the live chat are saying, well, I don't know. Some people are saying, well, this was in response to Muslims doing anti-Hindu songs. Okay, well, I mean, that's bad. Like as well.
We don't support that either.
We don't support that either. How about you both get together and do music against each other's religion? That would be based, okay? Do songs attacking Islam.
I still think it would cause a lot of problems.
I know.
In theory,
if they had the
reality, I think that would still cause a lot of violence.
If they had the capacity to just accept to just respond with criticism, then it would be a beautiful dance off. You could do dance off against each other, right? You saying you do raps against their religion, and they will do raps against your religion. Unfortunately, you can't do that. You don't seem to be capable of doing that. So you have to collectively attack an entire groups of people. So there's that. I mean, go to Pakistan. Pakistan used to be India. I mean, these people lived
Pakistan
there.
is
all
one of
their
the worst places to be a Muslim.
True. That's also true. I mean,
That's objectively true.
I mean, Pakistan is one of those places to be the worst place to be anything. Like, not just a Muslim. It just sucks to be in Pakistan. But go to Pakistan. Like, I mean, this is their land. They live there their entire lives. Again, they're Indian citizens. No, partition was a mistake. The partition was a mistake. Always a mistake. Anyways,
I
do you
think,
want to add anything?
partition was one of the greatest mistakes of human history.
Yeah.
Oh
But
my
anyways,
God.
do you read some of the comments?
Yeah, so I thought that this was really interesting. I saw a profile that kind of dug into
Wait. This is good. Read this one.
secularity is saying best dance equals best religion. Seems like that's the way to settle it for me.
That's what we should do. We should get Jews, Hindus, Muslims, and Christians together, and there will be two competitions. One, they dance against each other, and the best dancers win. Okay, that's the true religion. And they also cook. We have like an Iron Chef contest. Okay, and they cook. Who has the best food? Okay, and the people with the best food, their religion also wins. I don't know what happens if the
Ooh.
yes. We should do that. If we normalize
Hindus
that,
are going to
then-
be there. That's going to be some stiff competition because
Yes,
Indians
yes.
can freaking dance. Like,
True. Okay. What?
like,
Yeah. True.
who's like, oh yeah, the Catholics, can they bring it to the dance floor? Like, no one says
I
that.
mean, okay, but the Muslims would use like the Pakistani, because the Pakistani dances are basically, they have the same dancers, kind of right. They come from the same cultural background, so they could just use their Urdu brothers and sisters to win dance competition, to be able to challenge them in the dance competition, right? If we could just replace wars with dancing and eating and cooking competitions, wouldn't that solve everything? Yeah, I solved the world. I solve all the world problems.
Armin's
do that.
ideas of how to solve these problems are always like the craziest things ever.
You know what?
So,
Actually,
like,
the cooking competition could become violent. You know why? Because like, imagine everybody has their food, okay? And then the Muslims come with the dishes and they're like ready to reveal it, and they look dead in the eyes of the Hindus and like, we're serving beef today, right? And they're like, everybody takes out their knives. I think the cooking might actually turn violent. Well, no, actually, the Hindus could do that with pork. Anyways, I don't know. Yeah.
well, and then there could be Muslims and Jews arguing over who creates the best hummus.
Hummus, yes.
Yeah. That's also a major the source of contention.
Yeah.
Anyways, so back to this story. I thought this was a really interesting like profile that I read, digging into kind of the rise of this saffron pop, because when there was all this violence that happened in April during Ram Navabi, a lot of what precipitated the violence were the playing of these anti-Muslim songs. And as someone who, I don't speak any Indian language, I have zero level of proficiency, so I it's not accessible for me to understand like what is some of this rhetoric or that's being used. And so to see this profile and actually have these songs translated and broken down so that I could understand like what some of the issues was really helpful to me. I thought it was also really interesting because they some of these, it's so explicitly like part of the fringe that's becoming more normalized. So one of the very famous saffron pop guys is seen in videos with Yati Narsingh. He's the guy who openly called for genocide against Muslims. So he's, there like supporting that guy. Like, it's obviously a very big cameo to have him in his music video. And then the other thing that I thought was interesting when I saw some analysis of this is that there were academics who were saying, typically the pattern of violence in India is a bit more predictable, where there'll be a rally, there'll be inciting rhetoric or hate speech, and this hate speech will spill out from the rally and onto the street, and then it'll start a violence, and then it'll start intercommunal violence or kerfuffles. But what's difficult about this is that this is making that less predictable, because anyone can go into a crowd or an occasion, maybe like, a street procession, and start playing this music. And then it becomes an inciting instance, because that sort of rhetoric suddenly becomes accessible to everyone. It's on everyone's phone. And that really put into context for me a lot of what was seen during Ram Navami, when there was the open wielding of swords in the street in front of mosques, which devolved into stone pelting on both sides. And they're also hugely popular, like shockingly popular. And the rhetoric that is in these songs it's shocking to me. Really, really shocking. So there were some comments that I want to get to. Forever Stormy is saying, this has been going on for a long time within Hindutva groups. It's only now that they're brazen enough to play them in public. Yeah, that's a good point. That kind of feeds into what I was saying earlier. And Sheikh B, his opinion is, he's saying anti-Hindu songs are not blasted in front of temples. Also, anti-Hindu songs are from Pakistan and not from Indian Muslims. Engaged American is saying, this is why you need communist this is why you need communist harmony committees to pre-approve all art.
Oh wow, that's a good.
I feel that might be a more peaceful
joke.
solution than an Armin solution.
It's a joke, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Armin, do you have any reactions to this?
No. We should get. Oh yeah, this one actually. Read this one while I get
Yeah.
the next
So
news.
final thing is, Nanda is saying you missed this news about this Muslim who was arrested for supporting Nupur on Twitter. We're actually going to be talking about that next week because I had already chosen the lineup of news for this week when that happened. So we are going to be talking about that soon. What happened with Ansari? Yeah. So that is not. I know that is not fallen off my radar. I'm on top of it.
All right. Sorry. Okay, let me get the next news ready. Okay. Can I clap for the next news?
I don't think we should.
Okay. Next news.
Okay, next news. Mob kills man and burns body after Islamic cleric in Nigeria. On June 4th, a Muslim mob burned a 30-year-old Nigerian man, Ahmad Usman, to death in the capital of Abuja. Usman, a security officer with the vigilante group of Nigeria in Abuja's Lugbe area, was allegedly accused of blasphemy. According to locals, Usman attempted to arrest a fried yam seller, Malam Lawan, who refused to pack up his produce after closing time at a local marketplace. Mr. Lawam has also been identified as a Shiite cleric. Residents say that the cleric asked Usman to let him continue. An hour after closing, an heated argument ensued in which Usman said that he could not give him any more time, even in Allah's name, and was thereby accused of blasphemy. Hours later, a mob of 200 people showed up at the security office, started pelting stones, and set a fire in front of the station. Some of the security staff escaped, but Usman was grabbed by the mob, beaten, and thrown into the fire. He was later declared dead on arrival at the hospital due to his injuries. Usman was the second person to be burnt to death for blasphemy within the span of 3 weeks in Nigeria.
What the hell is happening in Nigeria? God damn.
There's been a really big upsurge in violence, particularly in terms of blasphemy-related stuff, which is, what we tend to cover. But there was also, like, a huge massacre that happened at a Catholic church where, like, 50 people were killed. Things have been really heating up over there.
Okay. He was burned alive? Like he was feeling like he experienced, like, was he killed and then burned, or was he burned alive?
It's not entirely clear to me. I think he was, I think he was burned alive. I think he died on the way to the hospital, based on the impression I got from some of the reports I read. I can't be 100% sure though.
Horrific. Do we have any idea for what is fueling all of this? I mean, Nigeria was always bad. Like, yeah, but okay, it was even, there are periods of time that it was worse before, but there seems to have been a recent uptick. Like, do we know what is fueling this?
No, that's a good question. I'm also curious about like this particular little uptick, like what's going on. I haven't been able to put my finger on it yet. I'm not tapped in enough to kind of the climate of Nigeria. Um, yeah. Secular Rarity is saying, yes, Nigeria is going through some upsetting things related to Islam/Christianity. You should talk with the Afro-humanist. She is very knowledgeable in this. Oh, I'm going to write that down. Wait a second,
Yeah, we
Secular
need.
Rarity. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion. We need somebody to break this down. By the way, Nigeria has such huge potential. It's like, and it's being held back by religion. It's such a. It keeps telling like Nigeria is supposed to be what, spearheads like the rest of Africa. It's the world's. It's Africa's largest population, and I think it's Africa's largest economy as well. Oh,
It's
we get
one
a
of
new
them.
member.
It's a powerhouse on the continent, that's for sure. Oh, Bread of Life just became a member. Thank you, Bread of Life.
Thank you.
Bread of Life became a member even though our tiers are still Satan's minions. Because previously that was too satanic.
Oh
Bread
yeah,
of
you're
Life,
right.
remember?
I'm so sorry. I was supposed to add the tears. Oh my god, that's a huge sacrifice. Bread of Life doesn't like Satan's minion, and that was holding her back. And she still did it. She was waiting for me, and I forgot to do it, but she still became a member. Guys, that's a huge sacrifice because Bread of Life is a Christian, and our tier names are like satanic, has satanic names. Thank you so much.
She said, "I'm okay with Hell CEO."
I mean, it's God's domain. You're helping at managing it, so that's fine. Yeah.
You're helping to manage God's domain. Wait.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, but yeah, Hell's Hell CEO is expensive. Satan's minion.
I think
Yeah.
I don't know. When it comes to this news, like it's so ridiculous that you just happen to be having an argument with someone who's like apparently some sort of religious leader and they're not in the right and you're like, no, I'm not going to comply with you, and you happen to slip up and use Allah's name in one way or the other and suddenly 200 people show up to murder you. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, there's really not that much to add to this story. This is horrific. This is insane. This is you know like what is there to say, but it's important to talk about this, especially since Nigeria is Africa's most populous nation. I think the fight for true secularism in Nigeria is going to be one of the most important things to happen in like the next 30 years. Like it's a major source where the atheist or secularist community really needs to put energy into reaching out into this country and supporting people in their efforts to, have real freedom of expression and religious freedom within the country. So yeah, I wanted to highlight the story from Nigeria.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Nigeria should be a focus of ours, because like think about the reason. Like we cover China, we cover India a lot. Okay, we cover Pakistan, and a lot of other atheist outlets don't talk about these countries. But these countries should be our priorities because their policies are affecting a larger number of people. Okay. And when it comes to Africa, Nigeria should be one of our top. I mean, it is. I think right now ranking Nigeria is number 5 in the world. Isn't it? Well, it's number 7. And okay, Nigeria population ranking, right? 7. Okay, so it's 7, but it's predicted to eventually become 5. That's what I remember. Okay, so it's a very important country for us to. And when it comes to secularism and atheist activism, it's one of the countries that needs us the most, right? So yeah, we need to focus on Nigeria a little bit.
Secular Rarity is saying, yes, Susanna, Nigeria is undeniably going to be a major world player in the next 10 to 20 years on the global stage. We need to focus on these issues. Yes, that's right.
Good.
So that leads me. I want to do some digging, and I want to try to come back again and say, like, okay, I can actually explain a bit more about like why we're seeing this now. Like I need to dig into this and understand it more.
Yes, you guys should really be proud of Susanna, okay? Because for her to go out and dig these stories and bring it to us, like I don't know of any other place where it just has this global perspective on things, right? And we owe it all to Susanna because she's the one, and the rest of our team that goes and brings this to us. Okay, like I think like Atheist Republic is truly like has a global mindset when it comes to fighting for secularism, right? So yeah, people are saying hearts for Susan.
Oh, thank you guys.
That's cute.
Yeah, I'm really
Okay.
lucky that we have our team is also people from around the world, so they come to me with stories that we should cover and perspectives that help me so much in bringing it to our larger community. Shigby is saying, I hope I could sub to you guys very soon, inshallah. Inshallah, please.
Yeah, so for people who don't know, on Twitch, subbing is the same as becoming a member on YouTube. No, well, thank you.
But always
But
put your financial health first. Do not support us financially if you cannot, okay?
Yes.
If you're struggling financially, do not support us financially.
Yeah, please do not sub to us unless you are very secure financially. Thank you very much. All right. Can we clap for the next news?
Yes, I'm so excited to talk about this.
Yeah. Next news.
Shia Muslim propaganda film Lady of Heaven sparks international outrage and bans. Released on June 3rd, the movie The Lady of Heaven sparked numerous protests across the United Kingdom as many from the Muslim communities deemed it to be blasphemous and, quote, spreading false information about Islam. The film depicts the life and struggles of Lady Fatima, the daughter of the Prophet Muhammad. In the movie, Lady Fatima is described as the first victim of terrorism. I'm using coded language for YouTube, but we all know what terrorism is. So she's the first victim of terrorism. The film's narrative is from a pro-Shia perspective, which led to a clash of beliefs between the two major sects of Islam. The Sunnis, the most outraged group, believe this film pushes a, quote, incorrect portrayal of historical facts. One of the biggest problems was the depiction of Muhammad and his relatives in the film. The visual depiction of the prophet is understood to be blasphemous in most Sunni sects. The film also received backlash for, quote, the demonizing portrayal of revered Sunni figures. Massive protests in Bradford, Bolton, Birmingham, and Sheffield made Cineworld, a prominent cinema chain in the UK, cancel all Lady of Heaven film screenings. The chain stated, due to recent incidents related to the screenings of The Lady of Heaven, we made the decision to cancel upcoming screenings of the film nationwide to ensure the safety of our staff and customers. Following in the steps of Cineworld, another chain, Showcase, has withdrawn the film from all outlets. And this movie has been banned in Morocco. It was banned in Iran. I think it was banned in Kuwait. Yeah, so it's also been banned in multiple countries. So there's a lot to talk about here. Because Armin and I watched this movie last night.
Yes, we did. So this is Muslim, like people are like, oh, we're banning this Islamic movie. Like, why? Is it like the right-leaning people are angry? No, it's Muslims. Muslims are banning Muslims. Muslims canceling Muslims because of the not liking the narrative. By the way, when you watch this movie, the first scene that you see is like showing these evil ISIS members or ISIS members like coming in and they're like shouting Allah Akbar and doing evil stuff, and the movie is condemning them as like the evil person, and you think like, wow, this is an anti-Muslim video, like who made this? Muslims. Right? So the like a lot of, I think some people might find it, who don't know the battle between like Shias and Sunnis, might be confused or like, wait, so this is a movie that is an Islamic propaganda, pro-Islam movie that is anti some other Muslims, right? So basically the way, what the message of the movie is, that is all of these terrorism, like ISIS, Al-Qaeda, this is all Sunni Islam. That Sunni Islam is responsible for all this radicalism, right? And they have been doing it since the beginning. Like this is not like what you're saying with the what you're saying with like Osama bin Laden or al-Baghdadi or all these other loons, the movie is like trying to portray that this is like from the very beginning, the people who are associated with Sunni Islam, the people who went away from the way of the Prophet, from the messaging of the Islam, these Sunnis, this is not something new. They have been betraying Islam from the beginning. And if people understood true Islam, which is Shiism, they would understand that this violates everything that is Islam, right? So that's the message of the movie. But I mean, the movie is attacked not just by Sunnis, though; it's also attacked by other Shias. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Because we have people in the live chat going, "Wait, a pro-Shia film is banned in Iran," and Puya saying, "What? Why was it banned in Iran?" Because and I'm over here like this because it's the Shirazi Shias. The Shirazi Shias.
So you guys, no, wait. So you guys thought that the sectarianism in Islam is only Sunnis versus Shias. You thought, oh, it's my sweet, sweet summer child. You thought that as long as people are on the Shia side, they would obviously get along. You're Shia, I'm Shia, we are Shia. Let's be Shia together. Oh, a Shia movie. Let's get along. You thought it's just as simple. No. Within Shia Islam, there's fraction. There's Shia and Shia disagreement and violence as well.
Secular writers say, no, say it isn't so.
So it is a movie made by Shias, but not the right kind of Shias, according to the Velayat Faqih or Iranian version of Shia Islam, right? So these are, as Susanna, go on, you were explaining.
So the Shirazi Shias are basically like Shia extremists. They have such their rhetoric. So for those who don't know, broad overview, Shias revere the family of Prophet Muhammad more. Sunnis revere his disciples and companions more. So, and it is always contention between how you talk about the disagreements between these people that caused this divide, right? So these Shirazi Shias take it to the extreme, where most Sunnis, most Shias, like they still generally have respect for the other side. They still revere them in some capacity. No. These Shirazi Shias are so extreme in their insult to the companions and disciples of the Prophet that their leader and the director and writer of this movie, Sheikh Yasser Al-Habib, got his Kuwaiti citizenship revoked because of what he says about the companions of the Prophet. Like they're like, you can't even, that is the next level of, we don't claim her. We don't claim him. Like, they are so controversial that their marja, they're the sheikh or the imam that they follow the most. Not imam, marja. What's his full name? Siddiqui.
What? Can I?
Al-Shiraz. Anyways, he's been in house arrest. He's been in house arrest in Iran for years now because they won't let him go.
Let me simplify it, okay? About the agreement. Okay, the Shia Muslims agree, okay, whether they're Shirazi Shia imams or the Velayat Faqih Shia Muslims, they both agree that the first three caliphs, they're rotting in hell as we speak. They're burning because, like, so the Sunnis, they like, oh, Omar, Abu Bakr, Osman, these are the rightly guided ones. They're some of the closest companions of Muhammad. I mean, Abu Bakr himself was referred to not by name, but in a story in the Quran, right? So these are like celebrated by the Sunnis. But the Shias consider these people to be some of the worst people ever to have lived because they betrayed Muhammad, right? I mean, the story of the betrayals. So, but Shia Velayat Faqih Shias believe that you cannot go and curse them. You cannot go and openly spread hatred towards them because that will cause, disunity among Muslims, right? So they're like, there are a whole bunch of Sunni Muslims, like you could believe that Abu Bakr, Omar, and Osman were evil, okay? But because you're our fellow Sunni brothers and sisters, we need unity with them against the evil West or Israel and stuff like that, you shouldn't go out and be like La'nat Bar Omar, like, you know, La'nat Bar, like, that's like tone it down. Taqiyya, do taqiyya. So basically, they're like, the issue is like, we need to practice taqiyya here and hide our hatred towards these people. Okay, that's one disagreement they have, and they think like the Shirazi Shias who are like really aggressively against these other beloved Sunni figures, right? They think that the Shirazi Imam, the Shirazi Shias, are being used by Westerners and Israelis as a way to separate, to cause conflict within the Islamic community. They're like, you are puppets of Israel or Western, you know, countries. Like you are, and it doesn't help.
Controlled by Queen Elizabeth.
I mean, technically, okay. So as radical, the Shirazi Shias, they're like, they seem more aggressive. Okay, they're very aggressively anti-Sunni, but they also like in favor of like blood splitting, you know. Letting out blood during Ashura and Taswa, like they cut their heads and stuff like that. And Velayat Faqih Shias, they're like, no, they're like, that is not allowed, right? So they look a lot crazy. They sound and look a lot crazier, but they're more pro-Western, right? So it helps with the narrative of Velayat Faqih, because the Shirazi, if you actually look into this movie, you could see like some of the heroes, the Shia heroes in the movie are working with Americans, right? And the Shirazi Shias, they believe that the Queen Elizabeth is a descendant of Muhammad. So and they love the Queen. You know, so for example, one example of a Shirazi Imam that a lot of you know is, say it with me, Imam Tawhidi. Imam Tawhidi. So Imam Tawhidi is a Shirazi from one of these Shirazi people, and you can see how much they love the Queen. They talk about the Queen Elizabeth, and how much they want to be recognized by her or accepted by her. They say nice things about her, and they claim that she has the Prophet Muhammad's blood in her veins. Like she's Soha's laughing so hard over all of this.
Yeah. No, the reveal of Imam Tawhidi. So this is partially why Imam Tawhidi is a super controversial figure in Muslim circles, because he's not just like he's controversial because of what he says about Islam, but like not just any kind of background. He has a Shirazi Shia background in particular. So there are conspiracies about him as well, but that's a story for a different day, because I have done a deep dive into the Shirazi Shia conspiracy world, which is how I got the nickname of Shia Susie. But so that's why I was so excited to talk about this news, because I get to whip out all this knowledge that I have for no reason. The craziest thing that I've ever seen is the director of this movie, Yasser Al-Habib, having a cake. So usually on the Prophet Muhammad's wife, Aisha, Muslims will celebrate her birthday sometimes. Well, the day that she died. So his group held a party where they had a cake that literally says in Arabic, like, happy, like, day that Aisha went to hell day. I was like, holy crap, you guys are on a different level. And they're like singing songs with children about how Aisha is in hell. I'm like, oh my God. Secular Raider is saying, LOL, the Queen of England is definitely not a descendant of Muhammad. She is, however, married to her cousin. I actually think that there is, I think actually is legitimate genealogy.
Yeah, look, all these charts that show how Queen Elizabeth is connected to Prophet Muhammad. There's a lot of charts where people make that connection, like Muhammad, blah 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 blah. So there's so many articles and analysis on this. You guys could go read all of these charts. So,
she's a Sayyida.
She's a Sayyida, yeah.
Sayyida. Okay, so anyways, coming back to the present. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to know, like, the reason why this is so significant is because Shias really believe in the importance of blood. You know what I mean? Like, they really... No, bring it back. It's okay. Because everything in Shia Islam, inheritance of the blood of Muhammad is very, very significant. Okay, this is why the Sunnis believe in the four caliphs. They were chosen. They're like, Sunnis are like, hey, they claim that our process was a lot more democratic, and like, oh, these Westerners, they think like they invented democracy, but look, Abu Bakr was chosen this way by a council of people, and Omar was this way, and Osman a different way. I mean, well, all three of them were chosen different methodology, right? But like, it wasn't by blood, and they make fun of Shias for thinking like heredity matters, right? But Shia Muslims say, well, that's what the Prophet said. They said like, my household will inherit this pureness, the pureness that I have. And technically, the Shias are right. Because the Shias like, what are you guys talking about? You guys are telling us heredity doesn't matter. All our prophets, because the Islamic prophets are Jewish prophets, right? And Jewish prophets, they became prophets through heredity. Like they were the lineage of Abraham, and that's claiming that they came from that lineage gave them the legitimacy to be prophets, right? So Shias were like, we're just taking that tradition and we're continuing that tradition, and you guys are acting like this is something completely un-Islamic, but look at all the other prophets. That's how they were selected, right? That's how they were chosen. You need to have their heritage. You need to have claim that you come from Abraham. Anyways,
So coming back to the present day with this movie, this is also juicy to talk about, because when we covered Armin a while ago, did a reaction to the trailer for this movie, and he was very critical of it because he's educated enough to be able to talk about and expose the propaganda that's going on, because a lot of people, some of the symbolism that's used, they might not understand what's going on. And so he was exposing this like propaganda, and then we got a strike on our channel, a false strike by the production company that made this film. And so we fought the copyright strike, and it was hilarious to me because I then started watching their content on the channels that they put out. And on their channels, they're talking about, this is the most reacted to trailer ever. We have hundreds of reactions from all across the world, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, but when it's one that you don't like, you copyright strike it. Like,
yeah. You guys remember when we did the review of this and we got a copyright strike? This was and then we fought against it, and we got the copyright strike removed. But yeah, the people who made this movie didn't like our reviews, because there were so many other reviews that didn't get a copyright strike, but ours that was not favorable, that one got the copyright strike, even though it was completely allowed based on fair use. Oh, another point that we have to remember: this movie is hella racist.
Yes. Okay, that's what I wanted to get into. So this is something that I haven't seen talked about in any of the protests or any of the reports going on. Armin and I watched this last night, and we're like, is it just me, or is this movie racist? Because the only black people in this movie are...
Well, not the only. From the main characters. Okay, so because they have token black people on the good side as well, okay? But
the majority of the black people in this movie.
Okay, if you remove all the people that are just bystanders from the main characters, good people be light skinned, bad people be dark skinned. That's how this movie works. But yeah, go on.
Okay, so I first caught on to this when I was like, you're introduced to Aisha, and Aisha is immediately talked about in aggressive tones, and she's immediately described as extremely jealous. And I was like, well, she's the first black woman I see in this movie. Like, okay, like maybe this was just casting choice, like don't read too much into it. And then Umar Uthman, this one warrior guy that goes to burn down Fatima's house, like they're all black people, like consistently. I was like, this is and we were talking about this last night, Armin. What did you say? We're like, is it just me, like, or what's going on here? Like, did no one on set, was this a choice that they made? Like, were they not aware?
Okay, so there's a scene that Aisha comes in, okay, and she's like so annoying. They made her so, because the movie is so anti-Aisha, okay? But then she walks in and you're like, she's not like light skin black. She's like black, like dark skin, really dark skin black, right? I mean, like, and I'm like, why is Aisha black? Like, there's nothing in Islam. Can somebody correct me? Like they must have gone out of their way to find somebody who's black to represent as Aisha. Like, there's nothing in Islam that mentions that Aisha is black, right? Like, why is it? And then Omar is black and Abu Bakr is black. Every single character that is supposed to be evil is black. And then Muhammad, first of
evil.
Evil. Like, they say things that like evil villains would say. Like, come on, guys.
This one guy, he's like, do whatever brutality is needed. I was like, who says that?
Or like, we will separate the daughter from the father. Or like, who talks like that? Who talks like that? Like, even evil people in the real world don't talk like that. What are you talking? Oh my God. The daughter should not meet her father. Oh my God. But yeah, but also it's not just that. It's also that the good people, like Ali and Muhammad, they're extra light skin. You know, they're not just light skin, they're the lightest, they have the lightest skin. You know what I mean? They're like, it's so racist. I don't know. Like, even if they weren't trying to be racist, did somebody not notice, like, hey guys, just by pure accident, oopsie, we have done something that looks really bad. Do we not want to fix this? Oh my God. But also, one thing that you don't see in Iran, they show Muhammad's face and they show Ali's face. Okay? Like, in Iran, that Shia Islam, they don't do that. Like, I'm like, this is the first Islamic movie I'm saying that Muhammad's face is like shown.
They show Muhammad's face more than they show Fatima's face. You don't see a single centimeter of Fatima's skin. She's wearing gloves and like not even a niqab with the little eye slit, like just a sheet over her face. Like, you don't see anything underneath all that clothing, but you see Muhammad's face throughout the film. But what's interesting is that they actually used like a combination of CGI and molding several actors together to create these depictions of Muhammad and Ali. So there technically isn't like a person that looks like that. There isn't a person that was portraying Muhammad. It's like an amalgamation that they then created this depiction out of. So that's how they got around it Islamically, because it's not a single person like trying to take on the, betrayal of the prophet.
Okay, so you're pointing out correctly that Muhammad was described as white and Ali was his relative. So you might have an excuse for that, okay? But the fact that Muhammad was described as white, like light skin, might also show the bias in Islam itself. Because in Islam, you also have, within hadiths, you have description of people in a bad way as being too dark skin, right? So maybe like, well, they had no choice. They had to choose white skin because it was described so as in Islam. Well, Islam is kind of like colorist as well. But anyways, fair point. Maybe for Ali and Muhammad, they had a good excuse, okay? But the fact that Omar, Abu Bakr, and Aisha were dark skinned, all of them, right? I don't know if that's because there's no description of that anywhere in Islam. And it just seems like it's such a pure.
Yeah.
If it's an accident, I don't think it's an accident. It's very unlikely for it to be an accident.
My review of the movie is like, don't watch it. It was boring.
No,
I was like literally, I was waiting for it to be over. I was like falling asleep. I was not interested at all. But okay, one thing I want to talk about the story about is like, what is with this mob rule going on in England? What the hell is going on here? So like a couple hundred people can show up and dictate what is Islam to the rest of the country?
Ooh.
Like a couple, what?
So you're saying that Sunnis closing down the movie is like you're telling that they're giving in to some Muslims over some other Muslims because of this?
Yeah, no, this isn't like a win for us. Like, what is this? This is mob rule. Who do you get to decide what I have access to? Screw
Right.
you. Who are you to decide what I get to go and see because it's offensive to you? No, you don't get to dictate that.
Well, Susie, you don't get to dictate to a movie theater, and that if they don't like the controversy, who are you to dictate that they should keep playing the music? They just don't like the vibe. They don't like the controversy.
Hey, you know what they can do? They can choose to not watch the film. They can choose to not pay money to support the creators. But you're taking away the opportunity for me to do so. So you get to decide for everyone else what is and is not offensive because you were offended. Like, what the hell is this? And I think it is so telling. I think it is so telling that the chains that canceled the movies, one, the producer came forward and said, we had a 5-week run in America and no one said anything. No one said anything. So what's going on with the temperature and the attitudes in England? What the hell?
Well, Susie, why are you defending the people who gave us a copyright strike?
I'm not defending them. I'm defending it.
I'm
People do not have a right to not be offended.
This is what you get. I'm a Hindu now. This is karma. You gave us a copyright strike. You got the ultimate strike. Okay, you got like banned from so many. You banned our video reviewing you. Well, now you're banned everywhere. Okay, are you happy? This is what karma gets you. I'm Hindu now. All right, can we?
It's so it's so ridiculous. Like it actually pisses me off. And oh my gosh, like, and I think it's so telling that the movie theaters, they canceled it. They didn't say that they canceled it because usually they'll give a really milquetoast answer, like, "Oh, I'm sorry for the offense that was caused." Blah blah blah. We didn't know. No, they explicitly said we canceled this movie because we're afraid for our safety. They said we're canceling this because of because we have concerns for the safety of our staff and our customers. What the hell is going on in England?
Make fun of Hinduism. Apparently, they don't behead you. Okay, so make movies against that. Okay, so can we play this? Or
this is.
Which one of these should we play? The last one is good.
The last one is interesting. I don't know if we want to play the whole thing.
Yeah, we're being racist because obviously these people don't have anything useful to say. This probably is.
Shut up, Armin. Why would you say that? Why would you say that?
I'm just calling out our own racism. All right, let's play.
We need to stop giving in to mob rule. We need to stop worrying about offending a particularly hard line element.
Wait, this guy said exactly what you said. This is your people, Susie. You guys are agreeing.
Okay, I don't agree with some of the stuff this guy said.
Wait, let me play it like you're not. Okay, hold on.
We need to stop giving in to mob rule. We need to stop worrying about offending a particularly hard line element of the Muslim community, put our foot down and say enough is enough. There have been huge protests outside of Cineworld in Bradford, Bolton, Birmingham and Sheffield by some Muslim, mostly from what I can see anyway, men. Why? Because there was a film called The Lady of Heaven that is about the Prophet Muhammad's daughter, apparently. I've not seen it, obviously, but it depicts her and apparently the Prophet Muhammad as well. The film has now been pulled because Cineworld was afraid that these protests were threatening the safety of their staff. Well, why didn't the police get involved then? If this was a far-right mob, then the police would be all over it, wouldn't they? They'd stop it. Look, I'm all for tolerance and inclusivity, but at the end of the day, if you live in a certain country, you should adopt the values of that country, not attempt to force your values onto everyone else, in my opinion. Britain is a very diverse nation, wonderfully so. In fact, multiculturalism, frankly, some people would argue, puts the great into Great Britain, doesn't it? We are a very multicultural country with a large Muslim population. But it is not a Muslim country. And that's simply a straightforward matter of fact. If a cinema chain chooses to show a film that offends the sensitivities of some elements, anyway, of the Muslim community, then as far as I'm concerned, there's a very simple solution for the protesters outside the cinemas. Just don't watch the film. But this is just the latest in a very long line of similar incidents.
I mean, you can protest if you like. I'm not against protesting. I'm against threatening. I think the problem with the protest is not that they're protesting. Protesting is also like maybe this man should be introduced to the fact that protesting is also one of your part of your culture. Okay, you guys invented protesting, I think. I mean, you're Protestant.
Well, I don't know about that, but so yeah, no, right. Like I agree with him up to this point, and then it just takes like a right-wing anti-immigrant turn.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, guys, don't be like, oh, if you don't like it, don't watch it. Why are you protesting? You should be encouraging protesting. You should be discouraging violent protesting. You should be discouraging threats. Okay, those are bad.
Protesting that causes that degree of intimidation.
Yeah, protest with intimidation, bad. Protest, I mean, technically, there's okay. Protesting requires intimidation, or else nobody would take it.
It means you're putting pressure on someone, not necessarily intimidation.
Okay, intimidating, but not on people's lives and security. You could be intimidating, I don't know, you could be like threatening their economy or their business or something like that. Anyways, there's ways to do this right.
Take Batley Grammar School, for example. Yet again, a mob conducted pretty threatening protests. Nothing really happened about it, and now a teacher is, as far as I'm aware, essentially in protective custody for the rest of his life.
Still
This
true.
is not on. It's not okay. We have to grow a pair and put our foot down. We're too soft when it comes to this kind of stuff. People might think, oh, well, it's just a film. Take the easy route and cancel it. It's just one teacher at a school. It doesn't really matter. But where does this end when you really play it out? I actually find it quite offensive that there appears to be a rather large group of people who are more than happy to reap the benefits that this country has to offer. So by our way of life, for example, talking of benefits, by the way, actually, has anyone asked why this lot protesting outside cinemas aren't actually at work? No? Okay, fine. Anyway, people seem more than happy to take advantage of
This
our
dude.
free education system, our free healthcare system, and other general benefits that this country has to offer. But then at the same time, they want to fundamentally impose their values or cultural or religious ideology onto all of us. And I find that more than a bit cheeky. Frankly, I find it flipping rude.
I mean, I don't know. That wasn't anti-immigration. That was anti-values. I think there was nothing like.
No,
he didn't
because
say that
he's making this assertion. Well, why would these people come here and reap our benefits and then want to
He
assert
didn't
their
say
values?
come here.
But I'm like,
Did he say?
but I'm like, he's like, come here. I think I might be
he
misremembering,
said?
but I'm pretty sure he says that.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Well,
a lot of these people
so
are probably English citizens born and
that's
raised.
exactly what I said. If he said come here, if he said people come here, I don't remember him saying that. But if he did say that, then that's like dude, they're British. They're they're citizens. This is their country.
It's very likely most of the people there were born in England.
Yeah.
So like, who are these people to come here and like take advantage of our benefits? Blah blah blah. And I'm like, well, they're probably a lot of them are probably.
But technically, most of what he said is correct because most of what he was saying was against values. But if he said these people come here, then yeah, I would take issue with that. Okay.
I just love the way British people thought. He's like, I don't think that's on. This is not on. Like, and then he's like, frankly, I think this is a bit cheeky. Oh, just a little cheeky.
By the way, guys, be careful because sometimes when people speak in British accents, you might think that they sound a little bit more rational. Okay, so be mindful of that. Okay?
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, this is like, oh, that guy sounds very reasonable. Well, no, they just have a British accent. Okay, but technically what he said is mostly right. Anyways, can we clap for the next news?
Wait, no, I just want to highlight a few more comments.
Okay.
Suha just threw in a Yahoo saying while we were talking about this. Just toss out a Yahoo saying.
Yahoo saying. Okay, which scene as any do you prefer for Hussein? Okay, this method or this method? My dogs.
I think I like the 1-2. You can get a better tempo with that, but I can't really do either. You can't do it as well.
No, you go all the way up and then you come down. You go all the way up and you come down, or you have this. I think it depends on the music, the background music. See which rhythm. Yeah. It hurts the tatas too much if you're a woman. I can't do that. Which is why when you watch women do it, they do it like this, what's on their shoulders. Oh, you're right.
Because if you do it right here, especially coming down from above, you're like, ah!
Oh my god, I never thought about that. That's why they go like here and here all this time. I've never like okay, you're right. Okay. Read more. Yeah. Anything else?
Oh, people also prefer the 1-2.
This one. Okay.
Show us how it's done, Armin. That's right. Oxymoron prefers the beater with swords.
Oh, then you like the Shirazi brand then? That's the Shirazi version. All right. Can we? You have another one start? Oh, here.
Exactly. It hurts the tits. And Armin realizing women have boobs.
Nobody told me. Okay. I mean, okay. Here's the thing. Bring it up, coming back. Okay. Here's what's actually happening. Okay. I've been slapping them all my life, and they seem to like it. Okay. So it's not. It's not the issue of whether they have boobs or not. Okay. I'm just realizing that
when.
Yeah. What is the revelation to me is apparently sometimes slapping boobs are not okay. Because that's not my experience.
Oh my god, I have to compose myself. We have a serious story next.
Okay. Can we? Oh, we can't. Can we clap? Apparently not, right?
I don't think it's good.
Okay. So we have to take some time for the next series because we can't.
Yeah.
We do transition.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay. All right. Next news.
Okay, next news. Maldivian atheists arrested and tortured for quote-unquote blasphemy against Islam. On September 10th, 2019, Mohammed Rustum Mushtaba, a leading atheist and human rights activist from the Maldives, was accused of producing blasphemous content against Islam on social media. Rushdie fears imprisonment on blasphemy charges at an upcoming hearing on June 23rd. Rushdie is known for pointing out religious texts' irrational and dangerous aspects. In confinement, he was beaten, not provided with proper food and clothing, and told that the blasphemers were the greatest sinners. Mushtaba was detained for more than 6 months without trial by the Maldivian authorities, in excess of his stipulated sentence, a clear violation of international human rights law. The Maldivian police performed psychological tests on Mushtaba at various clinics to ascertain if he was mentally ill for his atheist and secularist views. He was also abused for not fasting during the month of Ramadan. He was even moved to a maximum security unit in the death row section at one point. Amnesty International has urged the Maldivian authorities to release Rushdie and stated that, quote, the actions against Mohammed Rushdie Mushtaba contravenes international human rights law, including the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights.
How was he tortured?
Partially it's through the conditions that he was forced to live in. There was also incidences where he was punched in the chest repeatedly so hard that he could barely breathe for numerous days. And there's been multiple incidents of other prisoners assaulting him. Not to mention the forced psychological testing and being beaten for not fasting during Ramadan. So,
what was his blasphemy?
I can't remember what his blasphemy was exactly, but he's known for making just a lot of content that's critical of religion. And in the Maldives, this is particularly sensitive, where any criticism of Islam is really severely not tolerated. It's like a no-go zone. I get the sense of it's even more sensitive than many other places.
Maldives is horrible. We have had news on Maldives before as well.
Yeah, so we actually covered his story a while ago when this kind of began to evolve. And so now this is the update of what's going on with him later.
How long has he been? How long? Oh, yeah. So this is the update. How long has he been suffering through all of this pain?
He's been held in illegal confinement for 6 months, according to him. And the thing is, this is what's horrible. He has no legal representation because of how sensitive the nature of his case is and how sensitive the issue of blasphemy is in the Maldives. No one will represent him. No one will represent him. And he is not being given representation by the government. So he is forced and has no other choice but to represent himself in court.
Isn't that illegal for the government? So the government, if you can't have a lawyer, wouldn't the government have to provide you with a lawyer? That's not
that's the American standard. I have no idea what it is over there in other countries, but that's the standard here. But I can't assume that that's in any way, shape, or form the standard there.
Mogambo in the live chat is saying, isn't Maldives like a honeymoon spot? Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yes, it is.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. It's one of the most stunning countries in the world, but it's also hell on earth for Maldivians, particularly ones who have any questioning whatsoever of Islam or the dictates upon their lifestyle.
This is Maldives, okay? So it's heaven and hell next to each other, right? So it's Maldives is heaven for tourists, but it's hell for a lot of people who actually live there. God, this is beautiful.
Yeah, it's such a stark contrast.
Wait, can I go to Maldives?
I wouldn't. Oh my God, Armin, I would never let you go to the Maldives. Are you kidding me?
I mean, isn't that what they do just to their own citizens? Anyways, but yeah, I bet you a whole bunch of people when they go to Maldives, like they have no idea that, like, because they have a lot of Islamic countries have done, like, that are touristy, have done a very good job at creating a wall between what tourists see and what other people who live there see. Like,
What they
so much so
experience.
that, yeah, so much so that you go through that entire place, like you might not even know that this country was Islamic by the end of your trip. Yeah.
Yeah. So I also wanted to talk about this because on wait, let me post this in the chat just a second. On June 23rd, the Council of Ex-Muslims of Britain and the Ex-Muslims International, the global coalition of ex-Muslim organizations, have condemned his persecution. And so on the day where he's supposed to have his trial or his next court hearing, June 23rd, they're putting an open call for people to do a social media storm in support of him. So you can use the following hashtags, like hashtag free Rushdiem, which is spelled RUSTHUM, or hashtag jail Rushdiem no more, hashtag end Maldives blasphemy law, or hashtag blasphemy is not a crime, to try to get the message out there, try to show global support for Mujtaba while he's going through this whole ordeal. Because we really need, like, I cannot explain to people how much actually putting forward the effort to show that there are people paying attention to cases like this makes a difference to authorities. To them, they're like, this is just one individual who's a deviant, who has like no support. Like, he can't even get a lawyer, right? But to show that there are eyes on this case is really, really important. So I will remind people once again, on June 23rd, please use these hashtags pictured below, hashtag free Rushdiem, hashtag jail Rushdiem no more, hashtag end Maldives blasphemy law, and hashtag blasphemy is not a crime, to try to get some noise out there about his case.
Oop. Wait, hold on. There's something playing. 1 second. All right.
Yeah, I could hear myself for a second.
Yeah, but then I muted it, right? Got fixed?
Mhm.
All right. Yes, thank you guys. So, yeah, please make sure you use that hashtag. We have already used those hashtags in our social media.
Not
We
yet,
should do that.
because it's for
So,
June
I think-
23rd.
Okay, so when we put out the tweet of this video as well, we should use those hashtags so people could use this video as a way to get the understanding of what's happening.
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh, Bread of Life is saying thank you for supporting him. Well, thank you as well. You know, this is what I love about the Atheist Republic community, is like, we really like to get involved globally. That's why I joined, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, this is a really nice comment from Stormy. She's saying, it is people like him who can unleash enlightenment in these societies, but they keep jailing them and killing them. This is why these societies will never get anywhere. This is,
I mean,
you know...
never say never. I mean,
never say never, but I mean, it does take individuals like this to pay the price.
Right. Also,
to try to progress their communities.
He did all of this knowing that this is the price he could pay, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this guy's a hero, right? Basically.
Maldivian atheists face severe threats to their safety.
Yeah, and they still do what they do, so that's crazy. That's amazing. Yeah. Anyways, I hope. So thank you for following up with the story. Like, we will. I think Susanna will continue monitoring what happens with this guy. So thank you so much, Susanna. Like, honestly, like, a lot of people wouldn't have any clue about any of this happening if you weren't covering it. So thank you for that.
Oh.
Okay. Can we clap for the next news?
Yes, because we get to dunk on Islamic nonsense.
All right. Next news.
Pixar movie banned across the Islamic world due to lesbian kiss. On June 13th, the Media Regulatory Office of the United Arab Emirates, or UAE, announced that Disney Pixar's newest film, Lightyear, would be banned due to the inclusion of homosexual characters. Lightyear, the name of the movie, is reportedly banned in 14 countries, including Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Lebanon, Egypt, Malaysia, and Indonesia. The same-sex kiss in Lightyear was supposed to have been excluded from the final cut. Still, it was restored after the Pixar employees protested and sent an open letter criticizing Disney's response to Florida's anti-LGBTQ so-called Don't Say Gay bill. Earlier this year, 2 movies, Doctor Strange and the Metaverse of Madness and The Eternals, faced similar restrictions as these films were denied screening in multiple Gulf countries over LGBT content. In most Gulf countries, same-sex relationships are seen as a criminal offense that may be punishable by death.
Okay, this is so good. First of all, hats off to all the employees of Pixar who protested this, right? Like, you can't do this. You can't, like, companies like Disney, they come pretending like, oh yeah, we're pro LGBT. You guys, obviously you don't give a crap. You do it where it's easy, but where it matters, where it actually matters for you to take a stand, you take a back seat. Like, you just move in the direction of the wind. Like, yeah, very pro LGBT in places where it's celebrated, in the places where LGBT actually needs you, right? You take a back seat. You bend the knee, right? Where it matters, you're anti-LGBT because you give in to the will of, homophobes, yeah, of
religious fascists,
of governments that are actively oppressing LGBT members, right? And you're being called out by your own employees, and good job to them for protesting this, right?
Well, it's an interesting contention because Disney was actually reacting originally in relation to domestic outrage regarding, because there's been like a lot of contention with Disney and the government of the state of Florida regarding legislation that they have going on over there. And this is important because Disney has special tax status for Disney World in Orlando. That's a big problem. That's a whole separate thing. So that's the background of what was happening domestically. And in reaction to what was happening locally in Florida, the company was feeling all sorts of pressure, not only internally from within the country, but also nationally. So they were like, okay, we got to like really, be nice to the LGBT right now because we're facing some pressure. And meanwhile, so that's happening inside, and then outside internationally, they're, just homophobes. Islamic homophobes are going to be Islamic homophobes. They reacted to how they're going to react to this film, and Disney refused to cut it partially because of what's already influencing them back home. So I thought that was an interesting kind of contention and back and forth. PK is saying for some reason, even China's CCP is against homosexuality. Yes. So this film is going to be facing restrictions in China as well. China requested an edit of this film. They did not receive it because, I don't know, there's a branch of communism that hates homosexuality because they think that it's like production.
It's conservative. This is just conservatives being conservative, right? This is what it is, right? But here's another thing. This is a win for capitalism, okay? And this is also a win for the superiority of American culture, okay? This is winning the soft power war, okay? And this is because the movies that are banned there, people are gonna watch this. People like, do you really think Marvel fans in these countries are not going to watch Doctor Strange? Do you really think people that are into Disney are going to skip this movie because it was banned in the country? They're going to see this, right? And the fact that now they're going to see it with the parts that you wanted removed, it's going to influence them, right? So we are, the superior culture, the superior values, right, are going to win over because they're better than your Islam, and they're better than your, Confucianist, communist, whatever, legalist ideology you have going on there in China, right? And this is why you will destroy yourselves, okay? You can't stand against superior culture, right? And so this is why capitalism when you let capitalism work its way, do its thing, and people choose with their wallet what they want, and then the culture that is superior will become so financially rich, and money once something that is financially rich will want to go and dominate more domains, right? And this is, you would do now, all of a sudden you are able to do that without any military expenditure. This is why winning soft power battles are a lot more financially feasible, because instead of spending money, you're making money by doing this, and you just let the best ideas win. And again, this is why LGBT will win over whatever conservative nonsense that you have going on over there, and also all the other Enlightenment values that we're promoting.
That's
just
freaking
like
right. No, it's so true. It goes to the broader point of why like cultural wars are so much more effective than turf wars, on the ground offensives, because these stick. These leave impressions. These translate and communicate values that cannot be communicated, through they can be protected, through advancing ground and gaining territory, but they cannot be actually imbued within a people that way, as we clearly see in Afghanistan over the past 20 years, right?
Oxymoron is saying, why is China against homosexuality? The CCP is extremely against LGBT stuff, just like Russia is, right? These are, because again,
just
these
like
are
communists have been historically all over the world.
I mean, conservatives. Okay, when people hear conservatives, they always think right wing. Right? No, conservatives are also, they're left leaning conservatives as well, right? I mean, this is just the idea of, I mean, technically you could say they're right wing, but this is idea of promoting traditional family structures, right? Family values. That's how they see it as, right? That's why they're anti-homosexuality. They're against modernity. That's what they're against.
I think, well, yeah, it literally is an aspect of like, no, you should be reproducing babies to work for the state. If you put it in its simplest terms, that's a lot of where it comes from. Like the Cubans would have work camps for gay men, where across the front of it, it would say, "This work will make you a man."
It's not just producing, because number wise, it's not that big of a deal when people like the gay population losing that. It's more about the idea that the family unit is the very essence where every other institution in a society is founded upon.
It's the cornerstone.
It's the cornerstone of this. Yeah, that's what they think, and it has to be. And for some reason, they believe that the nuclear family is something that the way that it is structured is somehow hard-coded within the fabric of the universe, even though the nuclear family is not more than 200 years old, right? Like this is the foundation of everything, even though it's actually modernity, okay? The nuclear family is actually modern. The people who are against modernity, they're defending something that is modern. For thousands of years, we had the extended family. The nuclear family is only 200 years old, and you're defending it as if it has always been like this, okay? Anyways, I think like the third thing that we're moving towards is the chosen family, right? So we had the extended family for 10,000 years. Then we had the nuclear family for around 200 years. Now, hopefully, we're moving towards a new structure called the chosen family. So,
chosen family brought to you by the LGBT. You're welcome. Happy Pride Month. Recognize.
Okay, so neither we don't allow Persian here in the live chat, but neither in Persian is saying Salam bar Payambar bi Khodayan Armin Navabi, which means hello to the prophet. Blessings or peace be upon the prophet of non-believers, Armin Navabi. Which is I think that's the opposite prophet, but okay. Yeah. I wish we could watch the scene from the kiss, but we don't have.
Oh my god, right? We would get a copyright strike so fast.
Yeah, so fast. But I wish we could show it. Anyways, can we? Okay, so should we move to the next news?
Yeah, but remember, I wanted you to show those screenshots that I sent you.
Yeah, let me actually have the screenshots ready as well. Give me a second.
No worries. Wait, there was a comment I wanted to highlight. Oh yeah, in terms of like the culture war stuff we were talking about, Seth says when government pushes society to focus on anything other than merit, other cultures that do put merit on top become more seductive. True in East Germany yesterday and Iran today.
Interesting.
I thought that was an interesting perspective.
Okay. Can we clap for the next news?
Oh wait, just a second. Yes, we can.
All right. Next news.
Next news. Atheist Republic fundraising now on Instagram. Wait, Armin, this isn't what I wanted you to show.
Oh, I thought we were first going to show. Okay, fine.
I'm sorry.
All right, let's do this again. Okay.
No, but you need to go back to the first one. That's not the first one. The first one should be there we
one?
go. Okay,
All
yes. Right. Okay,
right.
we're on it. Okay, we're here. We're ready.
Next news.
Next news. Atheist Republic fundraising now on Instagram. So, guys, I have been working hard on this. Armin has also been working hard on this. And we now have fundraising available for Atheist Republic directly on your phone on Instagram. So if you go into your Instagram app and you go follow us at Atheist Republic, you will see right at the top of our page a little fundraising button where we've set our goal. And already some people have donated, which is amazing. And this is a fantastic and very convenient way for you to contribute to our work. The transactions are covered by the platform. So you're actually giving, more of your money to us instead of some of it being taken, to transfer fees and stuff like that. And this is also really cool because Instagram allows you to integrate this function into like your posts and content in really creative ways and in more fun ways than just a regular, I don't know, like share it on your Facebook story or whatever, or not Facebook story, status. So and we're showing screenshots because when you look at it on a computer, you don't actually see these functions.
You have to look in the phone.
Yeah, so you have to do this on the mobile. But if you go to our page and then you click on the little button, you will see something that looks like this. And so it'll tell you more about our fundraiser, it'll tell about like why we're doing it and, what Atheist Republic is about. And you can donate there. And then if you scroll down, you can also see that other people who have created stories that use our fundraiser in it. So, and then you can also create your own story on Instagram that shares our fundraiser, promotes it, or maybe show that you contributed to it. And also you can add this button to your own profile and you can add it to your own posts.
How do you? By the way, I wouldn't read. I wrote the caption and I also made a video. I'm so proud to show this. But before I show you what I made, how do you add this button? Because a lot of people want to help us, but they can't financially. They can't, and they shouldn't because they can. But all they have to do is instead of donating financially to us, you can basically add the donate button for Atheist Republic to your own Twitter account. Sorry, to your own Instagram account. So you could add the donation button to your own Instagram account, and you could also share the fundraiser as your story if you want.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways,
the way you do this is if you I'm just gonna like walk through it on my phone. Unfortunately, we tried to do it so I could share my screen and you guys could see too. But it doesn't work on StreamYard. So if you just go to create a new post and you like choose something that you want to post, just whatever, you go through to where you write the caption. You'll see you'll write the caption and it says tag people, add location. You don't have to do either of those. And then it says add fundraiser. And
I don't have that option.
Oh, okay. Well,
you have to,
and then you just search for whatever nonprofit you want to support. And if you search Atheist Republic, it'll come right up. And then yeah, you can create a fundraiser on your own posts or your own stories that way. On the stories, what you do is you load the photo that you want and then you flick up so that you get all the options of like adding music or emojis or whatever. And then you can add a donate button and then search for it again that way.
Okay, if you don't have that option, like I don't on my personal Instagram account, you could just share it as the fundraiser as a story. Anyways, I'm gonna read my caption and the video I made because I'm very proud of it. Okay, so this is the caption I wrote. It says, "Help the Atheist Republic fight dogma, ridicule superstition, slay sacred cows, break taboos, and normalize dissent. Help us put people above gods and reason above revelation." Okay, so that was my caption.
That's a very snappy caption. I like that.
Yeah, you like it? Okay.
Yeah.
But also, here's the video I made with Susanna's voice. Oh, wait. So before I play this, somebody's asking, can you provide a few more options for tax donations? Laws of country I have and doesn't allow tax-free donation for foreign entities. Okay, we have the links. Yeah, there's PayPal in the description and there's Patreon in the description. You could either do Patreon or PayPal, so those options are available.
I think he's talking about a specific thing for people in the EU potentially, and there are some services that you sometimes have to like go through to be able to do that kind of thing.
No, PayPal. Yeah, I think what he's saying other than these fundraising options that we have, okay, there are other options which is PayPal and Patreon. Links to those are in the description. I think you should be able to use that. But anyways, my video. This is the most important part. Okay.
Atheist Republic has grown from a Facebook page dedicated to giving disbelievers a louder voice to the world's largest community of atheists.
Okay, I made another one. I want to show the other one as well.
Oh, okay.
This one was with Susanna's voice. I also made. Oh, guys, before I show the other one, can I show you something funny? Okay, so this meme. Okay, look at this. This meme was like blocked by Instagram. It says false information. The same information was reviewed by independent fact checkers in another post. Okay, so let's say what information Instagram had their fact checking team review this meme, and it was factually wrong, and they marked it accordingly. So let's see what misinformation has Atheist Republic been spreading on Instagram. Okay, so let's see posts. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So for those listening, it's a photo of a child sleeping in the bed. The child is labeled as God. Standing above the bed is a soldier with his arms spread, and he's being lit on fire, and grenades and knives are being thrown at him. So the soldier is labeled believers, and the weapons being thrown at him are labeled insults, satire, sarcasm, criticism, mockery, and abuses. So Instagram is saying that it is false that believers protect their God from insult, mockery, and abuse.
I really want to talk to the fact-checking team and tell me exactly what research they did to determine that this meme is false information. And what does it mean for this meme to be false information? I don't understand. But it's funny because the whole...
JP is saying this is actually proving the point of the meme.
Oh, true. You're right. Actually, I didn't think about that. But a lot of people were in the comment were laughing. Like, somebody reported this post as false. It's coming up as false information. Why was this fact checked as false? So many people are commenting about laughing at the point. I don't know. I kind of like it because I think it made the meme even more funnier. I think
maybe they're reporting it's false because there is no God.
Oh yeah, maybe like we fact checked. There is no God. This baby here can't be God because God is not real. I don't know. But anyways, I think the meme became extra juicy because it's basically doing what the meme is telling you that it's just so ironic. I don't know. Anyways, I want to do. Where's my video? Oh, this is the video I made. Hold on. We have to. Instagram doesn't play the audio at first. You have to go at the back and then play. Atheist Republic amplifies the voices of atheists worldwide. Let's show our fellow atheists that are not alone. All right, so that was the second video. All right, so somebody in the comments is asking, what is the money exactly for? well, the money is going to cover our expenses, like our accounting fees or legal fees. We have staff that write stuff for us. We have software like video editing software, hosting expenses. We have video editors. We have a social media team that we have to pay. There's a whole bunch of things that we have to file, and it's expensive. Like it's getting challenging for us to hire an American accountant or a Canadian accountant to keep everything in order. So basically, all of this costs money, and also the people who work at Atheist Republic have to be able to pay for food and rents and all that stuff. So that's where all the expenses goes, right? So all the money goes.
There's an amazing amount of overhead that goes just into keeping things into compliance. Yeah. And also I want to save up funds to redo our website. So that's a big thing that I want to do with our fundraising.
We also need an emergency fund. We don't have an emergency fund. We need an emergency fund so that if something bad happens, we have like the resources to deal with it. So there's that. So, Imran is saying, "Oh, damn, you guys are larger operations than I thought." Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not just me and Armin. We're just the people that show our face. We got a whole squad behind us.
We have a whole bunch of people that don't like telling everybody that they're working on spreading blasphemy across the world, so spreading corruption or
spreading corruption in the land. Yeah, no, or it's actually dangerous for them. So,
Susanna, and Babak are from the entire team are the people who are willingly coming and showing our faces. The rest can't.
Yeah. We've also been putting a lot more investment into the Persian side of Atheist Republic, which I've been really happy about. I think, that's something I'm really proud of because I don't know. I wish I could like communicate to people on the English side, like all the things we're doing over there. But I think like our community on the Persian side is so, it's so rewarding to me to be giving something that is of such high value to the people who like receive our programming there. And it just really comes through in like all the people that come and talk to me about it. But because of the language difference, like there just kind of is a natural divide of these communities. And I wish there was a way to like cross that bridge more because we got like so much cool stuff going on over there, but it doesn't really come into this sphere. Shikbi is saying Instagram. Wait, this is important. Indians can't donate through YouTube. Will Instagram donation work for us? I don't know because I'm not based in India. So if you could give it a shot and then tell us if it works for you, please let me know. That'd actually be very helpful information for me.
But you could become a YouTube member. So there's that. And then if you're a YouTube member, then we will highlight your comments more often. And then
you get to come talk to us on the Q&As.
Yes. Also.
You get access to the emojis. Now I think we have enough members for me to add some more emojis. So that's really good. Or my goal is to have at least 100 YouTube members because then we have like a ton of emojis. I want even more. More emojis. I have them in the vault ready to go. We just need more members before I can add them. Dorian, I love this comment. Dorian had saying it's show and tell day for Armin. That's exactly what I was thinking. You're like, look, guys, I made a video. It's so cute. Really Nazi. And then Noman is asking, how can I become a member of your squad? Well, there's a lot of different ways. You can join our communities on Facebook. So if you go to atheistrepublic.com/consulates, you can find our international group on Facebook where we have over 80,000 people that you can engage with, or you can find a local consulate in your area. But then if you want to support us, there's a lot of different ways to do that. So if you want to support us financially, you don't have to. There's other free options as well.
I don't think that's what he means. I think what he means is like as a volunteer. I think that's what he means. Like come in and assist and join the staff team. I think that's what he means.
Oh, if that's the case, you can email me at Susanna@atheistrepublic.com. My name is spelled like this, Susanna @atheistrepublic.com. And tell me about what your skills are, what your skill set is, what you're good at, and what you'd be interested in contributing.
I was wrong.
I
was wrong. No man means. I mean, I'm a member. Oh no, I thought it said. I mean, okay, so you're already a member of Patreon. Yeah, so I think he means like. Oh no, I was right. I think he means like staff members. So okay, yeah. So email Susanna@atheistrepublic.com. We need
Yeah, tell me what you're good at. What do you want to get involved in? And maybe I can find a place for you.
We need video editors. That's what we need. Okay, fine. Let her speak. I did let her speak. Okay. What you guys are like such like okay, like are you a boy? Are you trying to be a white knight for Susie?
Oh my god.
Susie, no, you're being defended, okay?
No,
Susie, no. Okay. I'm sorry. All right, okay. The guys, there's a lot of atheists on Clubhouse. Well, we're active on Clubhouse. We are Atheist Republic.
Well, on the Persian side.
On the Persian side, we're active on Clubhouse. Yeah, guys, you have no idea. Our Persian side of Atheist Republic is doing a lot of work. We're active on Clubhouse. We're active on YouTube, and there's a lot of demand for what we're doing over there. And we are going to be active, hopefully, on Instagram as well. We have Arabic. We have an Arabic content that is constantly being made. If you guys could introduce more people to our Arabic channel, that part needs some marketing. So please help us with that. What else? We have the African YouTube channel, and we have a lot of Filipino activists, and in India we have a lot of consulates that are doing active work. But yeah. So
which actually reminds me, Shri Yash is asking, the Indian consulates aren't listed on the website. Yes, the administrators of our Indian consulates have requested that we take them down from public viewing because that's how bad the backlash against Atheist Republic because of the Sexy Kali Blasphemy was, that they were getting death threats. So for their own protection, they asked that we take it down, which is so shocking because we have the ones for Pakistan and Saudi Arabia publicly available. But anyways, so if you're in India and you want to get involved in our Indian community, one of the best ways to do it is to email me at Susanna@atheistrepublic.com, and I can get you hooked up with, and tell me which big city is closest to you. I can get you hooked up with our local consulates. We have like over 14 to 18 Indian consulates, and it's one of our biggest communities.
Would we ever be able to publicly list them again, the Indian ones? Or
yeah, occasionally I touch base with the administrators and see what they think, and I really want them to lead that decision. So I leave it in their hands. You tell me,
Okay, good. That's a good call. All right, we should end this here. So thank you, everybody. Please make sure you like and subscribe. Unlike the financial donations, this is free. So if you're like, oh well, I can't help you guys because I'm poor, no worries. You just like and subscribe and hit the bell notification. And if you're feeling very, very generous, you could also leave a comment after the stream is over. None of this costs you a penny, and it really helps us grow. Okay, so that's the way you should support us. In fact, that should be the only way you support us if you're struggling financially. You shouldn't help us in any financially. You shouldn't be helping us at all. Okay, it's free. It's free. Liking is free. Okay. By the way, it's on the Persian side. I've been calling the bell notification Devil's Bell, and it's been helping me. More people are hitting the bell notification because I've been calling it Devil's Hell. I don't know if it's going to work on Bread of Life, but I think on the rest of you, I don't know. Let me know if you have a name for the bell icon here. Yeah.
And Secular Rarity just donated $5. Thank you so much for the donation, Secular Rarity.
Oh, thank you.
Do.
Oh,
thank you, Suha, for telling us that we got a donation since we can't see it on StreamYard. Thank you, Secular Rarity, and all the best of luck on your atheist experience streaming tomorrow. That's an amazing opportunity. I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, that's going to be like fun.
Guys, make sure to tune into the news next week because we had so much juicy stuff that happened in the last week. We couldn't even get to all of it. And so we already have a stacked lineup for the news next week. It's going to be good. I had a lot of fun today. Bread of Life is saying, I always hit the bell. But now that I know it's the Devil's Bell, I don't know.
Imran is saying, great stream. Thank you.
What did you think about the news today? A lot of it was very heavy and not good. But I really liked digging into it.
Yeah, I think it was good. A lot of it was good. Some of it was horrible, but I think we tried to make it digestible for people. News
Yeah,
that
that's exactly it. Like, I like to take these stories that are like really hard, but still, I don't know, like talk about them in a way where, I don't know, we're kind of like looking at broader patterns and stuff. I don't know how to put it.
Yeah. Kenny's saying there's the notification bell, summon the devil. I don't know, but we're gonna claim it. I think it's gonna help. We're gonna claim.
Well, why don't you ring it and find out? What's the worst that can happen?
you let us know. All right, guys. Okay, guys, we're gonna go. Bye.
Bye.